is there a chill in the air? We're at Commonwealth Stadium in Lexington, Kentucky for our Jefferson Pilot SEC Game of the Week. Tennessee and Kentucky. They had to sweep the ice off the field. The players are all bundled up. The wind is howling. The crazies are here. And this means it's SEC football, the final regular season Saturday. Casey Clausen and Jared Lorenzen finishing their careers as two of the best in the Southeastern Conference. And hello again, everybody. I am Dave Neal. So glad you could join us. And this is the last regular season Saturday of college football. And it is a big Saturday, especially for the SEC Eastern Division race. Who will play in Atlanta? We know this much. LSU, with their win against Arkansas last week, they will be in Atlanta next Saturday. Meanwhile, if Tennessee wins here, we will have to wait for the BCS standings to come out. But if Tennessee falters, that will send Florida to the SEC championship game. My partner for the final time this year, but hopefully not the final time, of course, we're day-to-day as always, is Dave Rowe. And Dave, today we got a great one with two good quarterbacks, Jared Lorenzen, Casey Clausen, guys that have thrown for combined 20,000 yards, 150 TDs. But let's start with Casey Clausen. Your thoughts on him as he finishes up?
Well, Dave, first of all, I don't think Casey Clausen gets the recognition that he really deserves. You measure quarterbacks by completions and yards and touchdowns and interceptions. They need to measure Casey Clausen by another tangible, and that's wins. He is a winner. He goes out there week after week. He's a coach's dream. He executes the game plan. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. He's got great consistency, and when you talk about winning, that is a winning quarterback.
Well, on the other side, Jared Lorenzen, Dave, hasn't won the same kind of ball games that Casey Clausen has, but regardless, he has set numerous records, NCAA, SEC, and school records. Your thoughts about him as he wraps it up?
Well, I think he's a very different quarterback than Casey Clausen. He brings a strong arm, but he takes chances, and if he's hot, they better watch out. Around the SEC, he is known as someone who makes things happen. The question today, Dave, is can he make good things happen?
Well, he desperately wants good things to happen today. He said that he hopes the football gods are watching over Kentucky because he feels like these Wildcat seniors are kind of owed one after what has happened here over the past few years in Lexington. Anybody that follows college football in this league understands that Kentucky's had trouble closing the deal. And Jared Lorenzen really hopes that today they will be able to do just that. Well, the third member of our team, one of the best in the business, is Dave Baker. He's down on the sidelines, and let's check in with him because I know he's a little bit nippy today.
Dave, I know you're appreciating that new enclosed booth that they have here for the announcers at Commonwealth Stadium. Temperatures in the 30, the wind is really whipping. And we're now told 14-mile-an-hour winds, 30 degrees is our temperature as we get set for kickoff this afternoon. That will affect what the guys can do with the football. The wind's probably going to be a bigger factor than is the actual temperature. One thing that's going to be a factor today for Kentucky, how much can they get out of Derek Abney? He's been Mr. Electric, and he can light it up, but he turned his toe near the end of last week's game at Georgia. He went limping out of the locker room in one of those boot contraptions. They don't know if he'll be able to go on offense today, but they want to try to get him some kick returns. He needs one kick return yard. All he needs is one to hit that magical 1,000-yard mark for his career.
Well, Tennessee wins the toss. They defer, so Kentucky will return. Derek Abney not back to return the kickoff. Drake Davis will take a knee in that Kentucky end zone and bring it out to the 20-yard line. Well, here's a look at our Chevy starting lineups today. First of all, for the Kentucky offense, Arliss Beach had 100 yards against Vanderbilt a couple of weeks ago. The only running back to surpass 100 yards this year for Kentucky. Up front, Sylvester Miller, the big cat, the senior, will be playing alongside a new man. Hayden Lane takes over the right tackle spot because Antonio Hall suffered a concussion last week and will not play today. And at quarterback, Jared Lorenzen, 10,233 yards passing, 78 touchdowns to his credit. This guy has been an offensive machine over time. And let's take a look at this Chevy starting lineup defensively for the Tennessee Volunteers. Richmond, 10 career sacks. Jones, Mapu, Harrelson, the front four for Philip Fulmer's Volunteers. The linebacking core, Robert Peace, Kevin Burnett, Kevin Simon, all playing exceptionally well right now. Jabril Wilson, Rashad Baker, Jason Allen, Jabari Greer in that secondary. And this defense over the last 4 or 5 weeks has stepped it up to another level. They are playing about as well as anybody, you could say, in the country at this point defensively. Lorenzen to throw, hits his man Tommy Cook. Cook gets about 6 or 7 on the play.
An interesting, Dave. They go right to that little swing pass. They used it very effective last week to run the ball out there. It's almost like an extended handoff. And we should see a lot of that because Kentucky is very concerned about Tennessee's rush today.
Asked Rich Brooks, the coach of the Wildcats, if being the last game, you're not going to a bowl game, do you kind of take a few more chances, a few more risks, 4th down opportunities, fake punts, fake field goals? And he says, hey, you know what? If it's there, we'll do it. Lorenzen checking off at the line of scrimmage on 3rd down and 3. Dropped the football. Lorenzen picks it up, runs forward, and has the first down for Kentucky.
That's what you get when you get a 275, 285-pound quarterback. When he gets the football, he drops it. Most quarterbacks would just fall on it right there, but he doesn't. He picks it up, got a good push off the line, and look at him get his feet up underneath him. He picked up about 5 yards on that run. That's the kind of things that Kentucky needs to have happen today. They need positive things.
There's Philip Fulmer, 112 wins to his credit, 12th year at Tennessee. Looking for the 7th 10-win season of his head coaching career. Handoff goes to Rock Johnson, gets a couple on the play. Ritzman makes the stop for Tennessee.
You know, Dave, I was down on the field, and being a former player, you look for weather. A lot of people think that weather affects the game, and it does. This is Constantine Ritzman coming down the line. Good get in there, just comes down that line hard and closes. But back to my point, I talked to Philip Fulmer. I said, will it change your game plan at all? He said, no. We practiced all week. It was cold. Our guys are not going to play any different than what it is with normal temperatures.
4 wide out set, 3 to the top, 1 to the near side for the Kentucky on 2nd down and 8. Quick hitter again. That ball was nearly picked off. It's Tommy Cook, and he is close to the 1st down marker. We'll wait and see where they spot the football. Had to get to about the 43-yard line for the 1st down.
I thought Kevin Simon, number 5, was going to jump in the way. Look how close he was. He jumped right away, right down the line. Now, again, it's like an extended handoff. You try to get out there, receiver picks up, drives him off the line. This is a good start for Kentucky. Move the chains.
Defensive coordinator John Chavis looking on. Actually, Cook stepped out at the 40, so he's 3 yards. Really give him 2.5 yards shy of the 1st down marker. Lorenzen once again checking off at that line of scrimmage. He does this a lot under Rod Hudson's offense at Kentucky. Handoff goes nowhere. That went to Arliss Beach. First man on the spot was Kevin Simon, the strong side linebacker. Simon with 100 tackles this year to his credit.
Well, he's a tough linebacker, Kevin Simon, number 5. Tough, compact body. He's got great range. Just always has a smile on his face. Really enjoys the game.
So the first defensive stand goes to Tennessee. So Anthony Thornton will step back and punt it away for the Wildcats. Thornton, 57 punts on the year. His long is 58. He is punting into a pretty stiff wind right now, so we'll see just how stiff it is once the ball gets up in the air. Mark Jones back to return the punt. Pretty good kick. Fair catch called for by Jones at the 27-yard line, and that's where Tennessee will take over. A 32-yard kick for Thornton. Well, the Tennessee Vols will come in here averaging 30 points a game, 5th in the Southeastern Conference. And total offense, 376 yards, 7th in the SEC. Had running back Cedric Houston. They're waiting for him to shake off what's been a disappointing run here of late. The offensive line, Wells, Munoz, Herrera, Smith, and Sean Young are the starting 5 up front in the trenches. Now the Chevy lineup defensively for Kentucky. We'll get to that in just a moment on 1st down and 10. Clausen's first pass is caught near side. That'll be a gain of about 7 on the play. Then went to Mark Jones. Irvin Flowers makes the stop. And this defense for Kentucky, Caudle, a senior up front, along with Ellery Moore. Vincent Sweet Pea Burns is slowed by a bad ankle. He's a good one when he is on. Dustin Williams and Chad Anderson, 2 freshmen. They are exceptional. We'll give you some of their numbers a little later as well. And there is Sweet Pea, leads the SEC with 17 tackles for loss. But as we mentioned, he has been hobbled with a bad ankle. Handoff Washington, Houston. Cedric Houston has enough for the first down at the 40-yard line. Mike Williams, the strong safety, makes the tackle. Jared Lorenzen and company trying to figure it out. Derek Abney. Dave, what does that do to their offense without Abney?
Oh, it's huge. He's a go-to guy. He's very consistent. He's got the breakaway speed, can break at any time, but he's got tremendous concentration inside there.
Well, Casey Clausen's wide-out group, a big question mark entering this season, but all things considered, I think everybody involved with Tennessee football has to be happy with the production they've gotten from the wide receivers. Troy Fleming on the carry, gets a couple of yards. That'll bring up a second down situation. Tackle made by Chad Anderson.
And Dave, you get the feeling as I look at Tennessee that they're going to try to come out and just pound the ball. Find that little seam, find it, get back in there, pick up positive yards. See if you can just continually set the tone of this game. Move it, short passes, pound it down there. Boy, what a road record for Casey Clausen. 13-1. That is, you don't get much better than that.
That's good.
Yeah, that's real good.
Clausen to throw, trying to set up a screen. Nobody's there. Casey will throw it. Is that picked off? Flag down on the near side. Another flag comes in late.
Well, I thought Perez had that. Mike Archer, defensive coordinator, he wants it too.
Pressure came from Sweet Pea Burns. It forced Clausen out of the pocket, but Kentucky red screen the whole time and just blew the play up.
Well, and usually when you have a screen play like that and it doesn't develop, you got a man downfield, but they're calling, oh, it's offensive interference.
Mike Archer, I think, wants the interception.
Boy, and I'm not sure that Perez didn't have that. He was right on the line.
Pass interference by the offense. 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat second down.
Watch the foot. Does he have it right here? Is the foot? There's the catch. Oh, yes.
Oh, that's an interception.
Oh, yes.
That should be an interception for Leonard Perez. Instead, it's now second down and 23 for the Tennessee Volunteers. That play kind of just sums up Kentucky's season, doesn't it?
Well, that's such a game breaker right there. It sets the tone. It gives your offense great field position. Now you give it back to Tennessee.
Lawson going for much of the yardage. Jason Swain was the intended target. The freshman out of Huntsville, Alabama, has 18 catches this year, but Perez on the coverage for the Wildcats. Now to bring up a third and very long for Tennessee.
Boy, and I was watching Sweet Pea Burns there, and he was having quite a conversation with Anthony Herrera, the guard. I mean, they were jawing at each other. Of course, he has that bad ankle. But he didn't have a bad ankle up top because he was really jawing at
It's
him.
too cold to hurt today, Dave.
Yeah.
There is no pain. Third and 23. Deion Holt slides up from his linebacker spot where he will fall back in coverage. Lawson over the middle. Pass is dropped at the 45. Shy of the first down.
Incomplete.
Tony Brown, the intended target, went right through his hands, and Kentucky's defense holds, and Tennessee will punt.
Watch how open Tony Brown is on this crossing pattern. Coming across the top of the screen. Look at this. He's wide open. He just tries to catch it against his body. You don't catch it against your body. You catch it out with your hands. When he catches it against the body, it bounces off.
Colquitt to punt it away to Derek Abney, who in the crowd gets on their feet for Mr. Abney back to return the punt. Abney will have a chance to return it from the 30. Abney trying to shake a few Tennessee players. He might have lost a yard. 39-yard kick, a loss of 1. So now Derek Abney needs 2 yards for 1,000 career punt return yards. Scoreless in Lexington.
38 yards.
Yes, it is cold, but the Kentucky fans know how to stay warm. That is bring some firewood. Last night, the Kentucky basketball team beat Tennessee Tech. Looked pretty impressive today. Their football team trying to knock off the 7th-ranked Volunteers. Lorenzen to fire on the second possession for the Wildcats. Jeremiah Drobny, the tight end, makes the catch. Dave, this has been a series that Tennessee has just owned. They have won 18 straight games in this series. They've scored 50-plus points in 5 of the last 7 meetings. You know, this is the 99th meeting, but how is one team in this league able to dominate another?
Well, this is
so dramatically.
Yeah, you're right. This is such a dramatic series. I mean, you've got a great coach there in Philip Fulmer who really brings in tremendous talent, and they have just drilled them year after year. You've got on the other side of the field, you got Rich Brooks, who's trying to build a system. It's going to take him 3 or 4 years, Dave, to get that system in place.
They'll bring the sticks in to measure to see if it was a first down. Steve Landis, our referee, says yes, it is a first down. And Rich Brooks is like, why you even got to measure? I knew. Well, the Alltel Touchdown and Tailgate Tour is coming to Atlanta next weekend. If you're in town for the SEC Championship, come by Fanfare in the Georgia World Congress Center and check out Alltel's huge interactive display. You can make free local and long-distance phone calls on the new Alltel cell phones. 3 40-inch plasma screen televisions keep tailgaters up to date on all the day's sporting events. Plus, there will be other fun interactive activities. Alltel's Touchdown and Tailgate Tour coming to SEC Fanfare next weekend. Boy, that's going to be a lot of fun in Atlanta on December 6th. Lorenzen scrambling, pointing, throwing, out of bounds. And it appeared that the Kentucky wide receiver, Glenn Holt, might have been knocked down right in front of the Kentucky bench. That's why the Kentucky players were a little upset, but no flags anywhere.
Well, one thing that's surprising early is that Kentucky quarterback, Jared Lorenzen's getting some time to throw. He stood back there, looked out for his primary receiver, came back off, and then got the chance to run out. So if they can give him time, that's a huge factor for him.
There's big Antonio Hall, the right tackle, out with a concussion, suffered last week in Athens. And Dave, you had a chance to talk to him. We'll get to that in just a second. Kind of explain to us, because we couldn't see it in the game last week. And he gave you his take. Here's Tommy Cook with his take on things. Third catch for Tommy Cook.
Dave, this is just an extension from last week. They used this play very effective last week. It's like a swing out of the backfield. You see at the top there. Swing out now. Pick up a couple blocks. Right there's the important block. Drive him off the line. And number 19, Keenan Burton, does exactly that. Good job. Move the ball coming upfield. But back to Antonio Hall. Marvelous football player. Does a lot for young people. He said that he hit his head on the knee of the person. He was trying to do a cut block. And what he did is he came down and struck his head on the knee. Boy, he hated to miss this game.
And of course, Dave, that led to a concussion. He knocked himself out and had to leave the game, and that's why he's not playing today. But whether today is his last football game, which I doubt it is, I think he's a guy that will play at the next level. Regardless of what Antonio Hall does, he will be successful at it. Truly just a great person to be around, and has been a real attribute to this Kentucky football program and the university. Handoff goes to Beach. Beach tries to break a couple of tackles, gets 4 or 5 on the play, but trying to break tackles out here is tough. Jabril Wilson makes the tackle. Dave, this is a defense that has just stepped it up lately.
And you talk about Jabril Wilson, number 8. He's one of those players that is always there, Dave. He's just Mr. Everything in the secondary.
Well, John Chavis's defense hasn't allowed a touchdown in 3 of the last 4 games. They have a chance to have 3 players with 100-plus tackles for the first time ever. Beach falls forward inside the 40-yard line. Jason Hall, the sophomore out of Marietta, Georgia, in on the tackle.
Well, Kevin Burnett had him in the backfield. Looked like he was going to stop him for about a yard or 2 loss. Burnett's number 2 right there. Look at him. He's got him right there. Then he just kind of slips down, gets that little leg drive, and picks up about 3 yards on the play. There he is. Boy, he's a good player. Wow.
Junior out of Carson, California, 77 tackles. 6 of those behind the line of scrimmage. He already has a degree in sports management. Razzle-dazzle, Chris Bernard will pick up the Kentucky first down. Gain of 8.
Well, when Bernard goes back to the huddle, he ought to look for number 5, Arliss Beach, because that's who got the block. In motion, you fake the handoff, just give it right back to him. Look at that block right there. Good block downfield. Beach, that at halfback, doesn't get used to carrying on, used to blocking a lot, but he just cut the legs out.
Arliss Beach missed the Arkansas game, and that with a bad ankle. Came back against Vanderbilt and And Rich Brooks says was one of only a handful of guys that actually came to play that day. Had 108 yards on the ground and earned his starting nod because of that effort. Here's Beach, cuts it back inside down to the 27-yard line. Rashad Baker comes up to make the tackle for the Vols. Our Aaron scoreboard. A couple of scores from around the SEC. On Thanksgiving night, it was Ole Miss finishing up Jackie Sherrill's career. Final score 31-0. Yesterday, LSU was in a real scare for the first 20-25 minutes, and then they showed why they are the third-ranked team in America with a chance. I mean, it's so confusing. It's unbelievable. It gives you a headache to think about it, but they have a chance to play for national championship if they can win in Atlanta next weekend. But certainly it's a long shot, but there is that opportunity. Beach might have lost a yard. Constantine Richmond makes the tackle. Here are the BCS standings. Southern Cal right now with 2.5-point favorite, two and a half, I guess, points ahead of LSU in the BCS standings. And there's been so much talk about what's going to happen in the East. And as you can see, they are now really bunched up. Georgia, Tennessee, and Florida. If Tennessee wins here today, Georgia beats Georgia Tech, Florida beats Florida State, all those things have to take place, then the BCS standings could get even bunched up even more to make it more confusing. 3rd and 4, 9th play of this drive. Lorenzen trying to run a little option, pitches it out to Davis, and Davis will have the Wildcat first down.
Boy, and Jared Lorenzen did exactly what he was supposed to do. When he came down the line, he read the linebacker, he made the linebacker commit. So when he comes down the road, watch him right there. He makes that linebacker commit right there. Now, toss it outside, pick up the yardage. Good play right there. Davis, a good block here. Bernard, watch this. You're a wide receiver. You don't always catch the football. Sometimes you just got to get in the way.
There's Drake Davis, the junior college transfer out of Vallejo, California. Little play action to Davis. Lorenzen throws it wide open as his tight end. Rodney Jeremiah inside the 10, right out of bounds by Wilson. A gain of 11. They'll move the chains again, I believe. Yes, they will.
Well, if you're the underdog team, this is what you need. Good thing. Lorenzen fakes, comes out strong. Weak side, I should say, and finds Drobny just on a little slide out here. Now, he's not real nimble, but he puts that shoulder down, catches the football, does exactly what he wants, gets that first down. If you're Kentucky, this is what you have to do to stay in this football game. You're the underdog. You got to score.
Well, Kentucky's been pretty efficient inside the red zone. They've scored 87% of the time, 3rd best in the SEC, but they've scored a touchdown 32 of 41 times. Brock Johnson inside the 5. You know, coaches shoot for 70%. Ooh, some little bit of hostility down on the gridiron where it should be.
Just a part of the game.
But Dave, back to this red zone, Tennessee, it's amazing what they've done. I mean, you know, they're 6th in the league in scoring, but they've been able to put it in the end zone. Coaches like shoot for 70% touchdown ratio inside the red zone. Kentucky's at 78, and surprisingly, they've run it in 22 times.
That is really surprising, especially when you think of a Jared Lorenzen, quarterback. If I'm Jared Lorenzen right here, I'm going to look to throw the football. Oh, got to call timeout first.
Yeah, Tennessee will take a timeout. We'll step aside. Kentucky knocking on the door. Back after a word from your local stations. Kentucky Wildcats looking at 2nd down and goal from the 5. Gaffron, the tight end, in motion. 2 receivers to the top. Handoff goes to Beach. Hit at the 4. Stopped right there. That'll bring up 3rd and goal. Constantine Richmond clipped him as he got to the line of scrimmage and knocked him down. Richmond, the senior from Germany, he's been a pretty steady force during his time in Tennessee. 265 pounds.
You know what I do in this situation? You're 3rd down, you're on the 3-yard line. Maybe fake in. You set that play action up. Fake in hard to that fullback. Let your tight end slide off the line. See if you can find him. Maybe catch a wide out coming on a slant. But play action's the call right now.
3rd and goal from the 3. It's Beach again. Down to the 1-yard line. 4th down and about a yard. Kevin Burnett stepped up to make the touchdown-saving tackle.
Well, good call. Faked me out. But look at Beach. He's running hard in there. I want to tell you, this offensive line is reacting. Look at him. Big Cat says, let's go. And I think you do. You don't kick field goals in this game. It's my time.
What is this time right here? What is it?
Big man on big man. That's it. Line them up. Let's have a go at it.
There we go. 4th and goal. Beach. Did he get it? Touchdown, Kentucky. The second effort.
Boy, great drive block off the line. No fooling around. It's just a straight lead right up the gut. Look at him. Follow your big man. Watch the second effort. Gets hit in the hole. Comes down on those feet. Stretches to get in. He didn't make it when he first got hit right there. He's short. Then you see the wave go in there. A second effort.
Arliss Beach had 3 touchdowns rushing against Florida. Now has 8 on the year and can't get a good look at who that is on the ground for Tennessee. Arliss Beach getting a congratulatory handshake.
Well, he ought to. He made that on his own, really. I mean, you got to credit those up front guys for a good drive block, but when he came down, he was short, and he just extended in there. Great second effort. That's what they're all saying to him. And Dave, when you're the underdog team, that's what you play with. You play with emotion. A lot of concern on Philip Fulmer's face, seeing one of his players down.
That's only the 2nd touchdown allowed in the last 4 games by Tennessee. Kentucky had a lengthy drive to put it in the end zone. See if I can get the total number of plays on that drive. 14 plays on that drive for Tennessee. There's Steve Landis, our referee.
That may be JT Mapu. He's the only one I don't see standing out there, number 99, Dave.
JT, the sophomore from Hawaii, 265-pounder, one of the interior linemen. JT with 25 tackles, a couple of sacks to his credit.
Well, Dave, we may be able to see it. There's Mapu right there. He's down on the line. He's in a 4-point stance. He's just getting distance in there. You see 2 men converge on him right there. They just crush down on top of him. The play is designed right there. Good penetration by the secondary come up there. I think he just took a shot right up, just trying to break that double team.
And you know, it looked like Jabril Wilson came flying over the top and might have come down with a knee.
Well, it's good to see those legs moving around. That's what you want. He's got his legs bent up, and these trainers, they do an excellent job. They don't take any chances. They start talking with them just to see where it hurts and what's going on. They'll take all the time they need. That's a part of the game that's tough. You're breaking a double team. You know what's coming. Both the tackle and the guard pinch down on you.
I turn around, I go, all right, I'm going to go.
There's Jerry Lorenzen waiting, watching. Directed a nice drive by the Wildcats. 14 plays, 66 yards.
There he is. Big man's up. Good to see.
He's a little wobbly.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been down in that situation. When you're trying to break a double team, all you're trying to do is just split them, not get driven back. That's tough because both of them are just beat it in on you.
On to attempt the point after for the Wildcats.
That's good to see him run over the sideline, sit him down. Good to see. Meanwhile, Kentucky waits.
So Taylor Begley will step in to attempt the point after. 39 of 39 in that department. And the Point after is up and good. So Kentucky strikes first at home on Senior Day. They lead the 7th-ranked Volunteers by a touchdown. One curse. Well, how about the one that Tennessee's won 18 straight in this series? Yeah. Rich Brooks and Philip Fulmer looking on. Our Jiffy Lube well-oiled machine scoring drive was that last one by Kentucky. 14 plays at 8 up, Dave. 7:22 on the clock.
Yeah, that's incredible. You don't see many drives almost 7.5 minutes long. You want to control Tennessee? That's the way you control them. Don't let them have the ball.
Clint Ruth will kick it off. Clint out of White House, Tennessee, and I need to apologize to all those that live in White House, Tennessee. I said last couple of weeks that he's from White House, Kentucky. Clint Ruth will send it into the end zone, and that's where Tennessee and Larkins will take a knee and bring it out to the 20. Well, Dave Baker has more on JT Mapu and his situation. Buzz?
Dave, the reason they were being so careful, he got one of those stingers, but what this stinger caused was for Mapu to lose feeling in his left arm. He's moving it around right now, but it's just one of those things that's just numb, and they'll just have to see whether or not he's going to be able to return. But it's a stinger affecting his left arm.
Thank you very much, Buzz. We'll keep an eye on JT as if we'll be able to get him back in here shortly. It is very cold in Lexington. Snowed last night. Slick, icy streets in this part of Kentucky this morning. Handoff goes to Houston, and he goes nowhere. Casey Clausen, Dave, is obviously a California boy, but he's been around the SEC long enough to deal with this kind of cold weather. But he's been bothered by a sinus infection this week. He is not 100%, but we know this about Casey Clausen from last year. There are a few quarterbacks tougher than he is. The way he played physically last year was remarkable. Bad shoulder, bad ankle.
Oh, absolutely. I have great admiration for him. And the thing he does most is win. He just wins games. He's not flashy. He's not one of the leading passers, but he wins.
Pass is caught, flag down at the 38. That'll be a first down if it holds up. James Banks on the reception.
You know what I thought James Banks did? I thought he pushed off and came back because there was great separation between he and the corner. Flag came down.
Catch was made by James Banks.
I think that's what they're going to call.
Steve Landis says
Preliminary
it will go against the Volunteers.
Yeah, when you drive off, Banks is going to be on the left of your screen. He drives off and then comes back, but he pushes off. See, he pushes him down. The official right there comes.
There is Vincent Burns on that bad ankle. Still moving around. He gets up hobbling, but he's giving it everything he has. He said in the paper today, this morning, that he is coming back. He's just a junior and has been a guy that a lot of NFL scouts would like to have on their team, but they think maybe one more year.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And Mike Archer, his defensive coordinator, said you need one more year, and he believes it.
Over the head of Mark Jones.
Incomplete. 3rd and 19.
Well, let's check in with Dave Baker with our Alltel sideline connection. Buzz.
Dave, you're taking a look at defensive coordinator Mike Archer. Of course, Mike spent 7 years in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was showing his guys some tape this week to show them a scheme, and what they did was they saw Pittsburgh. The guys said, hey, we need to see more of this. And he said, but you're not the Steelers. But his players said they need to see more of that kind of tape to see the effort that the Steelers gave. The Cats are giving that kind of effort on defense so far today.
3rd down, a little reverse. Derek Tinsley hit at the 18, drop there. He's about 12 yards shy of the first down. And that'll bring up a punting situation. Chad Anderson in on the tackle for Kentucky.
Dave, you play this game with emotion, and that's what Chad Anderson is doing. You see the excitement. They're all pumped up. Things are going their way. That's the way you play game on defense. You play with emotion, with spirit. Then you need somebody to bring that football running it back.
Derek Abney back to return the kick. On his previous punt, they said no gain on that return, so he stands at 999 career punt return yards. Colquitt with a good kick. Abney from the 34. Abney has a wall. Derek Abney into Tennessee territory, out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Dustin Colquitt, the punter, had to knock him out of bounds. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Well, Davey sets him up, comes inside now. Get to the outside and pick up those blockers. You see the blockers. Look at the blue wall that he has. Now, just put that head down and get as many yards as you can. They've given him great field position.
Well, Derek Abney has just become the first player in NCAA history to reach 2,000 kickoff return yards, 2,000 receiving yards, and 1,000 punt return yards in a career. That's in Division I-A college football. Arliss Beach popped the line of scrimmage by Greg Jones out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. I had a chance to talk to Derek Abney before the game today, and I told him, I said, thanks for providing a lot of highlights. We've had a chance to do a lot of Kentucky games. And I said, it's been fun to watch. And he says, you know what? It's been the funnest time of my life. This has been a remarkable time here in Kentucky, and he's enjoyed every second of it. And that may be the last play of the first quarter as Jared Lorenzen looks on at the clock, and that will do it. Kentucky will take a first quarter lead, 7-0 over Tennessee. The Volunteers need a win to stay alive in the race for the Georgia Dome and the SEC championship game. Temperature right around freezing in Lexington, and people are wrapped up, to say the least. I need to step back and apologize to all the people that had a chance to educate me over the years. Some would say that I suffered some by my lack of, I guess you could say, effort, but funnest isn't a word. I've been around you way too long. Derek Abney.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you were quoting Derek Abney.
No, I was quoting you.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Well, let him come up and argue with me.
Exactly. Why do you think I bring you into the picture? 6'8", 290. Lorenzen on second down. Over the middle. Shane Boyd. Boyd's got some running room down inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Rashad Baker finally drags him down. A gain of 17. Boyd playing on a bad ankle.
What Boyd does is comes underneath on that bubble screen. See the lineman coming out there now. Turn upfield, pick up a couple blocks. He's a great runner. He's a quarterback, but he's a great runner. They want to get him on the field.
Shane Boyd does so much, and he will, have the nod as the starting quarterback when spring practice rolls around. But Shane is just a versatile athlete. Lorenzen left, going back over the middle, dropped in the end zone. Chris Bernard had his hands on it. Bernard does have 5 touchdown receptions, but he was open in the end zone.
Absolutely. He laid out for the ball. Lorenzen fake strong side. Now watch to the right of your screen. Look at this layout. You got to catch that ball. You got to. Oh, mercy.
Dave, if you want to knock off Tennessee for the first time in 18 games or 19 games, you got to make that play.
Absolutely. You got to help your quarterback out. They had to play just like they wanted. That slant across the middle, just didn't catch it.
Remember, in 2001, Kentucky opened up a 21-0 lead, and Tennessee then stormed back to steal a win here in Lexington. Lorenzen will have to take a timeout. Play clock is down to 1, and we'll step aside as well. Kentucky knocking on the door again. Dave, what do? You're looking at second down and 10 from the 17.
Well, I just don't think you're going to run it in against Tennessee. They're too strong up front. I think you have to throw it. Maybe look for that little slot coming back to the post.
Lorenzen out of the shotgun. Near side pass dropped. Drake Davis has 21 catches this year, so he's a versatile running back. But once again, you got to make those plays. Gatorade first quarter stats. Look at the time of possession.
Wow, that is incredible, Dave. That is incredible. Almost 11 minutes. That's the way you keep Tennessee out of this football game.
But you can't expect to do that all game, I mean, Tennessee has some weapons.
Oh, yes, they do, and they can move the football. But when you get opportunities like they have right now, you have got to come away with points. Philip Fulmer will tell you that right away. Get opportunities, you got to score.
Tennessee's defense only allowing 18.6 points a game. Top 30 in the country. Lorenzen throws a bullet that's picked off at the 4-yard line. Antoine Stewart out to the 6. interception of the year by Stewart, and it came at the most appropriate time of year of all, man.
That's the kind of plays that can turn a football game around. Stewart down there just playing the eyes of the quarterback. Look to your right. I don't know who Lorenzen was throwing to because the ball went right to Stewart. Oh, he's throwing deep into the end zone, but he had to see Stewart. Again, look at Stewart. Just step right in front. It's right to him.
I don't know where that if he was going for Glenn Holt, that was a horrible pass. Buzz, what did you see?
Dave happened right in front of me. He was trying to go to Glenn Holt, and he absolutely never took his eyes off Holt. Great read by the defense.
And off to Jabari Davis, his first carry today. Mike Williams, the safety, steps up. And, you know, this Tennessee team will go with a committee of rushers today, but the bottom line is this running game has disappeared. Last week against Vanderbilt, 21 carries, 82 yards. Coach McCorvey, who handles the running backs, he called out every one of those guys. Said they had horrible efforts. He was questioning what they were doing out there.
Yeah, I said to Philip Fulmer, can you pound it? He said, we just have not been a pounded team.
Dustin Williams, who leads the team with 115 total tackles, will add to his total.
There's just nowhere to go, Dave, on this play. You run up there and you don't see a hole. They're not creating holes. Look at this. You see that quick little starter step? There you see 59, Dustin Williams, standing right in front of him. You've got to break seams. You got to push them away.
And Dave, this running back core of Tennessee is good. I mean, let's face it, these guys are all 215, 220 pounds. They run 4.4s, 4.5s. There's no reason why they shouldn't be having a 100-yard game every game.
Big down here. If you're Kentucky, you got to get a rush.
Pressure coming. Clausen steps up, fires over his intended target of Mark Jones. That's the second 3-and-out in a row for the Volunteers.
Boy, Clausen had time to stand back there and look downfield. He just threw a bad ball.
Yeah.
But if you're Kentucky, you're going to get the ball at midfield. You've got Mr. Excitement standing about on the 50-yard line.
Abney's last return went for 29. Every time Derek Abney goes back for a kick, the crowd comes to their feet. Few people in college football can do that. High kick into the wind. Abney will field it at the 47. And Abney will get about 7 on the return. 42-yard punt by Colquitt. Tennessee's last 3 possessions against this Volunteer defense.
Boy, if I'm the defense coordinator,
the Wildcat defense.
Well, if I'm Kentucky, I'm excited about it. If I'm Philip Fulmer, I am really upset. Minus a yard. You made 4 yards, but Kentucky, how about their defense? Stepping it up, getting good field position for their offense. The game's been played on Tennessee's side of the ball, inside of the 50-yard line all day.
Lorenzen will watch this series, and Ron Hudson, the offensive coordinator, told us that he would try to get Shane Boyd in here in the first half to get some snaps under center, and that's what Shane Boyd is doing. And Boyd will throw. His pass is caught. Glenn Holt. Shane Boyd came in completing only about 34% of his passes this year. 13 of 40 for 190 yards. And they say he's got a great arm, and in practice looks great, but in the games he hasn't been able to connect with his receivers.
Well, he threw a strike that time. He had 3 wideouts, trips to the left. They all ran a diagonal into the post, and he found just a strike.
Glenn Holt comes to that Kentucky bench, and
he's holding his right arm. He might have hurt his arm on that play.
Glenn Holt has been a target that Kentucky quarterbacks have tried to find today. Boyd telling Gerald Parker to split out wide, not to call a timeout, and he'll have a little chat with Gerald in the process. 11:47 to go in the second quarter. Back after a word from your local stations. Second quarter football from Lexington. A lot of eyes on this game. Kentucky leading by a touchdown, 11:47. It's been an interesting game to this point. Shane Boyd in at quarterback. Nothing wrong with Jared Lorenzen. Just Shane Boyd getting some snaps this week. A little reverse. And a little reverse pass. Tommy Cook heaves it up, looking for Davis. And great coverage by Tennessee down that left side. Kevin Burnett actually running back there with Drake Davis. That's pretty good stuff from your linebacker.
Well, Burnett was never fooled on the play. He's got the back coming out of the backfield. Toss right there now. You watch Burnett, he just takes off. Going down the left side of your screen. And again, look at this. Just great coverage. Just run with him. He's got that man out of the backfield. That's discipline.
Cook was a former high school quarterback, so that's why he had the honors to pitch it up in the air. Second down and 10 now. Here's Boyd rolling right, hit as he throws, and that pass is picked off. Rashad Baker.
Intercepted.
Pressure came from Paris Harrelson to force the early throw. The intended target never even saw it.
Well, if you're Shane Boyd, you just can't take a chance in the SEC. When you throw it up for grabs, most times the defense are responding. And Baker is one of those players that responded to the football. You just can't throw it up for grabs.
Well, that's the first interception this year for Baker, the senior from Camden, New Jersey. Now has 11 interceptions in his career, but the first this season. Took 12 games, but he finally got on the board. And you know, his former roommate, Jabari Greer will congratulate him. Handoff goes to Cedric Houston. He pounds his way for about 5 on the play. Well, the average starting position for Tennessee today, Dave, has been their own 18. Kentucky's possessions have started at the 44, and the fact that this is a 7-0 game, if you're a Kentucky fan, you're getting a little concerned.
Well, yeah, I would be really concerned. The last 2 series they've had, they throw back-to-back interceptions. They were inside good territory to at least come away with a field goal. They came away with nothing. And now is when Tennessee can really make you pay for it.
But they have to move the football. They have struggled today. Clausen has time again. Throws it near side. Revel will take it close to the 30. Loose football. Still on the ground. Dustin Williams down inside the 5. But they're blowing it dead back at the 30.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Our field judge, Jesse Dupay, will blow it dead.
Inside Tennessee 30.
It happened right in front of Kentucky's bench. It's just a little drag out of the flat. Now watch when the ball comes out. Ball's not out now. Now the ball's out now. There, the ball's out. He's not down.
Now, one thing that we don't know. Obviously, the play was blown dead, Dave, but one thing we don't know is when the whistle blew.
Absolutely.
Now, the whistle may have... Listen, let's see if we can hear it. Whistle did blow. The crowd booing here, but the whistle blew before the ball came out of his hands.
Absolutely. You can hear it on the replay. No question.
Here's Clausen. Has to throw it away. Pressure came from Sweet Pea Burns. Our Aaron scoreboard, Georgia on top of Georgia Tech early. That one at Grant Field in Atlanta. Virginia Tech trailing Virginia, that in the first. This should be an interesting game before it's all said and done. This crowd still not happy.
They're still booing.
But it was a good call.
Yeah, it really was. It was a good call, and you blow the whistle to protect players.
Clausen 2 of 7 for 12 yards today. We'll throw it again. Casey steps up. Looking far side. Pass picked off at the 45-yard line by Leonard Burress. His first interception this year.
Dave, anytime you're the underdog and you start getting emotion like Kentucky is getting right now, they're playing with tremendous emotion. Look at this, top of your screen. Good return back to get back into position by Burress. He got beat a little bit, but he recovered. How about Sweet Pea? Sweet Pea Burns was coming around there, as was number 99, Ellery Moore. And they're telling that quarterback, hey, I'm telling you, that I've seen Kentucky play with all year. Now, if you're Tennessee, you got to take that out of them, Dave.
Well, once again, Kentucky with excellent field position. Boyd back in at quarterback. Pass behind Beach. Lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And you know, it's interesting, as we were talking with Rich Brooks, he said, hey, I want to get Shane Boyd in there, but when you had Jared Lorenzen doing so well, I just don't know if you'd make that switch. Yeah, you want to get him in, but stay with your hot quarterback.
Well, I just think it's, for Jared Lorenzen, he knows the situation. I mean, Shane Boyd's coming back. Jared is having a good start. But I tend to favor you in that. I mean, let's go with a hot hand. Here's Drake Davis, has some hot feet. Davis turns the corner, and looks like a flag may have been dropped. It could be a hold against Kentucky, maybe Glenn Holt. I see number 4 in blue down there trying to plead his case. Steve Landis says that is what the call is.
See if we can see this. It's a swing pass out. Now watch number 4. See if we see him. There's the hold that they're calling.
Repeat second down.
I don't know. That didn't look like a bad. That wasn't a bad play. He was locked up with them, driving them off.
Let's check in with Dave Baker with a special fan today.
Absolutely, Dave. Jim Brown has been here 375 straight home games every year since 1938, except 1944. That's a lot of football, my friend.
Yeah, some of them I do enjoy.
and a lot of cold days like this, I would guess.
Worse than this, yeah, especially in Knoxville.
Dave, we want to spend a few more minutes with Jim, but let's kick it back up to you for just now.
Thank you, Buzz. Here's a little quarterback draw that goes nowhere. Shane Boyd dropped back about 6 steps and ran 2 forward before he was met by Paris Harrelson. Let's go back to Dave Baker.
Jim, you were featured last night on the History Channel in a documentary entitled The Burma Bridge Busters. Steven Spielberg's dad served in your unit. That had to be a neat experience for you, that being a part of that special.
That was sure great. I've only gotten to know Arnold Spielberg the last 2 or 3 years at reunions. We were in different parts of the squadron, but he's a great guy, and he raised a good son and raised Steven.
Well, Jim, let's hope it's a memorable game for you. Thanks for being with us.
Okay, Dave. All right. See you.
Pass is caught on the far side by Keenan Burton, freshman from Louisville, Kentucky. And, well, Kentucky will have to punt it away.
Well, this is not going to go for a first down. Throw it out to the flat, hope you run them off far enough, but they don't. Tennessee is a quick reacting team. They tackle well. They make you pay. But this is really surprising to me. Staying with Shane Boyd, 3 series in a row. He threw an interception. Hey, there's your hot quarterback. He's the one that took you the length of the field for a touchdown.
Mark Jones back to return the punt. Shane Boyd obviously feeling pretty good today. He's back on special teams. It's the up back. This kick angled to the near sideline will hit at about the 25-yard line. I'll mark it at the 26. So Thornton with a 32-yard punt, and Tennessee trying to get it cranked up on offense. 7-0 Kentucky leading Tennessee. Second quarter football. Tennessee's drives. Punt, 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 interception. It is amounted to 40 total yards. And Jabari Davis will add about 8 to that total after the hard off-guard run. Here's what Davis has done this year. We've told you about the struggles in this rushing game, but Davis is the touchdown maker. 8 TDs this year, has 20 career touchdowns to his credit. Averaging 4.6 yards per carry, the junior out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Second and short. Davis again, hit at the line of scrimmage. Sweet Pea Burns and Justin Haydock in on the tackle for Kentucky.
Boy, nowhere to go on that side. They better choose another side. This is just big man just crunching up in here, pushing them back. And really, you see that Kentucky is controlling the line of scrimmage. I just wonder how many times you can ask your defense to keep on holding them when your offense isn't moving the football.
Looked like Anthony Munoz just ran right past Switke, Burns. Chad Anderson just heads to that Kentucky bench. Keep an eye on him on 3rd and 1. Flags down.
I think Tennessee moved on the play.
Boy, that'll be a killer if they did. That'll bring up a 3rd and 6. We will wait.
I thought I saw Cody Douglas or Sean Young on the right side move.
Before the snap, movement by the offensive line. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Being a defensive lineman, you always point to the offense. I know how that works.
Yeah. Randy Sanders says, stay on sides. Offensive coordinator.
Tennessee has been flagged 3 times for 31 yards today. Casey Clausen 2 of 8 for 12 yards. Tennessee 0 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. The numbers just aren't very solid right now for Tennessee.
They have really sputtered. They need a down right here. They need 6 or 7.
Clausen under pressure. Throws it to a safety valve. Good cutback. Cedric Houston. Houston has the first down to the 40-yard line. Maybe that's the play Tennessee needed to get him cranked up. That's a gain of 10 on a 3rd and 6.
Boy, what a play by Clausen under a lot of pressure. Look at this, taken away from him now. He's got to roll out. He's got him right on his back, and he throws a strike out here. Then you let Houston just get out there, make a couple moves, pick up that first down yardage. That may be the spark that they needed, because they haven't had any sparks before that.
Chad Anderson, 55 in blue, was there to make a tackle, but he ran right past Cedric Houston. Jabari Davis, first down and more. He barrels his way into Kentucky territory, a gain of 18 on the play. And Dave Rowe, Kentucky's had 3 or 4 opportunities to have the football with great field position, couldn't put it in the end zone, and now Tennessee's getting it cranked up.
Yeah, you keep on wondering how many times you're going to ask your defense. This is the answer. All of a sudden, Tennessee starts to get going. And you're right, Dave. They squandered 3 or 4 opportunities through the interception, missed the touchdown pass. Can't do that.
Tennessee maybe gathering some steam here on a cold, blustery day in Lexington. Big hole off the left side. Davis gets about 5, maybe 6 on the play. Chad Anderson to make a tackle. Chad Anderson, a guy that had 21 tackles last week against Georgia, had 20 tackles against Arkansas, 19 tackles for USC, and he's only the 2nd leading tackler on the team. And he had 6 today.
And Mike Archer, the defensive coordinator, said, I just didn't think he'd play that well this year. He's been pleased.
Dustin Williams, the leading tackler, trips up Troy Fleming.
Did you see what Dustin Williams did that time? He just darted through the line. He's 59. He's just going to come right through the line. Boom, he's in the backfield. He guessed right. Again, there he is, 59. He's going to jump right through there. Watch him. On the snap now. Square up, right in the backfield. Heads up play.
3rd down and 3. There's Williams with those 115 tackles. Lawson fires. Pass nearly picked off. Intended receiver was James Banks, but Antoine Huffman nearly had the interception.
Boy, Huffman had great closing speed. The pass was there, but Huffman made up the difference. He's dropping back. Look at him just step right in front. He had a chance at that ball.
Was it Huffman last week at Georgia that stepped in front of a similar route?
And dropped it.
Dropped it?
Exactly. Exactly. He sure did.
4th down and 3. Philip Fulmer says, guys, I'm putting it in your hands, the offense. Clausen has time over the middle. Great catch by James Banks inside the 15-yard line. What a grab from Banks, because it was a high throw from Clausen.
It was not a good throw. Casey Clausen threw it up there, and I want to tell you something. This may be as fine a catch as I've seen this year. Watch coming from the right of your screen, and watch him stretch over top. Look at this stretch. Oh, man, marvelous catch. James Banks makes a hard one easy.
And I think part of the reason that's hard is you're going over the middle, exposed ribs.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You got that strong safety, can just cut you in half.
But he held on and picked up the big first down. Play clock at 2. Big hole off the right side for Jabari Davis, who's getting the majority of work here on this drive. Chad Anderson with another tackle for Kentucky.
When you get the feeling that Tennessee is just taking control of that line of scrimmage, they're going to drive them off. Randy Sanders will tell you, you got to sputter a little bit, but once you get that thing going, you just get it going. How about Fulmer on that 4th down? That's taking a chance.
Well, it's just that awkward position. You're kicking into the wind on a cold day. I mean, what the heck, you know?
Well, he needed it.
And Challenger got this. Sure. I mean, it gave him an opportunity. Davis trips up, got back. I don't know if he got back to the line of scrimmage or not. Might be a loss of about a yard.
I think he may have tripped feet with Casey Clausen on the handoff, because he just went down.
I'll say it's a loss of 2. Ball outside the 10.
Watch Casey Clausen's feet. Yeah, he trips. Yeah, trips right there.
Tripped on his own.
Yeah.
You do that on the way to the game on Saturday. I got to pick you up in the parking lot at least once a week.
Yeah, it's my funnest moment.
3rd down and 5.
Got to get pressure.
Whistles have blown the play dead. The whistles were blown before the ball was snapped.
See if it's an illegal formation. I wonder if they had 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
The offense exceeded the 25-second count. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, that'll push Tennessee back outside the 15-yard line now.
But you know what? That may be a lucky call, because they were not going to complete that pass. It was bobbled in the end zone, so they actually get another shot at it.
Well, this has been a very good drive. The best of the game for Tennessee. 64 yards, 10 plays. But now they look at a 3rd down and a long 10 yards. They have to get it inside the 5. Clausen steps up, fires over the middle, pass is dropped. C.J. Phaeton a little bit behind him, but once again, that's a catch you got to make.
Absolutely. Phaeton just looks, the ball's behind him a little bit, but you got to go back for it. Look left of your screen, you're going to see it's a dart, but you got to go back for that. Oh, that's a very catchable ball. And that's that land where you just don't like to go if you're a wide receiver.
Well, a 33-yard field goal attempt for James Wilhoit. 15 of 21 on the year, but he's been hot over the last 5 games. Snap and hold are good, and so is the kick. Wilhoit has now hit 11 of his last 12 field goal attempts, and it's a 7-3 football game, but Tennessee with a pretty good drive. Kentucky leads it by 4. We'll return after these messages from the SEC. Full day in Lexington. James Wilhoit will kick it off. Greg Davis and Tommy Cook back to return the kick. This is to the near sideline and bounces at the 10. And will it roll out of bounds? Greg Davis took a chance. Took a chance by not fielding that ball, but it barely rolled. It's like that bunt down the 3rd baseline, you know. You just kind of hope it goes foul if you're the 3rd baseman. Our Chick-fil-A nugget of today's game takes a look at the BCS berths, and there are obviously 4 BCS bowl games, meaning that there are 8 teams eligible for the BCS system. So there are 2 at-large teams, and as you can see, the SEC right this minute has 4 teams that would qualify, but really there are just 2 teams that will be fighting for at-large bids, and Tennessee among those teams. And those will, of course, that'll be kind of weeded out a little bit after the conference championship games. Incomplete pass. Chris Bernard was the intended receiver, and Lorenzen back in the game. Pressure came from Carlton Neal to knock the big man down. Dave, I got to ask you, I thought yesterday, you and Jared Lorenzen over time have gotten to be pretty close guys, and he said earlier this year that he would take you to the scales and you could see officially how much he weighed. And what happened?
I don't know.
I didn't see Jared.
He avoided me. I never saw him. He never came in for the talks. But I can tell you he weighs 200 and plenty.
200. Well, after Thanksgiving on Thursday, who knows what he's up to. Chris Bernard makes the catch. Gets it to the 40-yard line, but that'll bring up a 3rd down and 5 on the play.
And look at Jared Lorenzen. He's in hurry up. He's getting him up on the line saying, hey, let's go.
With clock under 60 seconds. Kentucky only has 1 timeout remaining this half. Lorenzen pump fakes. Throws it. Pass is caught. Tommy Cook, 1st down. And he gets out of bounds.
Boy, and this is a great catch by Tommy Cook. You talk about big time in a game like this. Watch him come across. Look at that stretch out there. Good look in. And we all know Lorenzen throws a dart. And he does. He's going out of bounds. And look at that. Good stretch. Good concentration. You want to win, you got to make plays like that.
Cook, 4 catches, 43 yards today for the junior from Victoria, Texas. He had 5 catches last week against Georgia. So the hot hand right now is number 17. 45 seconds to go before intermission. Lorenzen steps up in the pocket, slings it, looking for Cook, and Cook turned his head. Kevin Burnett on the coverage for the Volunteers, and that'll bring up a 2nd down.
When Lorenzen total control out there, he's in control of the huddle, moves around, he's got great pocket presence, moves around, looks downfield, thought about running for a second. Maybe he should have. He could have picked up at least 10, 15 yards running. He's pretty nimble for his size, Dave. Maybe nimble's not a word, but not a word to describe
it's
him.
It's a word, but maybe not the right word.
Nimble at 200 and plenty.
Lorenzen hit from behind, dropped at midfield by Jabril Wilson, the senior out of San Jose, California, with his 3rd sack this year. Tennessee 26th as a team.
Boy, the strong safety number 8 just keeps on working. It's interesting that John Chavis says he's the best I have ever coached. Watch all the way on the right. He's going to come all the way. He's going to get blocked in here, but he never gives up. He's going to come over and get the quarterback. Look at this. Blocked right there. Never gives up. Just keeps on coming. Keep on working. Great play.
Wilson, 95 total tackles. Coaches say the last few weeks, I mean, he was playing great all year, but has just taken it to another level the last month of the season. He has 6 double-figure tackle games this year and just an unbelievable athlete. And the coaches, I mean, when you ask them about Jabril Wilson, Dave, they don't have enough. I don't think their vocabulary is extensive enough to describe what that man has meant to Tennessee and his teammates. He's a good guy, great player, and going to make a lot of money down the road.
Oh, yeah. He's going to get a chance to play on Sundays, and he'll be good because he's got great speed, leverage. They use him as a pass rusher. Oh, I like that hat, by the way.
Custom made. It is the holiday season. I cannot believe how many people have showed up for this game. The weather, it snowed about an inch last night. It was miserable weather. Our executive producer, Jimmy Rayburn, on the dinner last night says, let's just walk 6 blocks. Well, Jimmy ended up being like 6 miles in 25-degree weather. I almost didn't come to the game today. I was still cold.
Your ears were cold last night. Big down here. You want to pick up that 1st down. Oh, flag already. Clock's not down.
Penalty marker down.
Oh, substitution.
Illegal substitution on the offense. Entered the field with 12 men. 1 left the field.
Can't break the huddle with 12 players, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's that old trickery. That penalty actually came from that trickery thing where they would run one guy out of the huddle, and all of a sudden you get to the sideline and turn it up. It was very deceptive. Now, if you're Kentucky, don't make a mistake. Don't try to force the ball in there if it's not there.
Lorenzen dropped at the 45. Kevin Burnett on the sack. Jared Lorenzen decides just to eat it instead of, no pun intended there with Jared eating football, but they didn't throw the football.
Well, you know, the first thing came to my mind, Florida game. Remember when he tried to make something happen late in the game and he threw an interception? That time he just takes it down. Kevin Burnett in under pressure.
Well, Tennessee trying to hang in there in terms of the SEC Eastern Division race. Yesterday we found out who would go from the West, and LSU was the team, and this kind of just reminded us of a year ago here in Lexington. And then just like that,
it exploded.
It blew up.
Yeah.
It blew up in the faces of Kentucky defenders on the last play of the game. But that wasn't what we were supposed to see. But LSU does win the SEC Western Division, and what a run they have put together. I thought yesterday they got rattled early, Dave, but showed the kind of mettle that they have. And I think they showed a lot of what their coach brings to the table. Never get rattled, you know what I mean? Just kind of an even keel kind of guy, and it showed. 55 points against Arkansas.
I know.
Come on.
I know, and Arkansas was really in the game, but they turned it around at the tail end of the first half. But how many people do you think across the nation, when they show this halftime score, what do you think they're going to be doing in other games?
Well, I know down in Gainesville they will be probably giving Kentucky a standing ovation for the first time ever. Offsides against Jason Mitchell. But on 4th down and 18, the extra 5 not going to mean a whole lot. 19 seconds.
Before the snap, the defense violated the neutral zone rules. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Three more offsides, and Kentucky will have a first down. I have a feeling, though, if Tennessee has 3 more offsides, there'll be a lot of guys not heading to the locker room at halftime.
They won't want to go in there.
They'll be heading right to the bus. Low snap, handled well by Thornton, and kicks it a mile in the air. Fair catch called for, and a flag comes down. Ball's loose.
Now this is an interesting flag because he was blocking someone and he blocked the blocker into the receiver.
45-yard kick.
I think it was Tommy Cook on the coverage.
Tommy Cook was...
Look at Rich Burns. What is going on? I mean, Rich Brooks. Look what is going on.
They may wave this off.
Yeah. Well, the official's doing a good job. Now watch this. You see the block right there? That's the block knocked into the receiver. That's not the coverage team coming down and hitting the receiver before the ball. Look, he's being blocked, so he's just driving through his block.
I mean, ultimately, by rule, Cook never touched the returner.
That's right. Well, the official's doing a good job. They stand in there. What did you see? What did you see? And make the decision.
I mean, the blue jersey never hit the return man.
Well, Rich Brooks saying, wait a minute, what is going on?
So how could there be a penalty against Kentucky if nobody from the Wildcats touched? I mean,
I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. With 6 seconds, it's not going to be a huge play.
But an interesting
it is
dilemma.
Interesting.
I mean, as far as I can tell, by rule, if Kentucky never touched the punt returner, and obviously if there's a body between him and the returner, there's room to catch the football.
Absolutely. Well, they want to be clear on it. You see the explanation there to Rich Brooks.
Bobby Gaston will be calling me, I'm sure, tomorrow to explain this thoroughly when I'm wrong.
Well, you know, they did away with the halo rule where they used to have that 2-yard halo around him. And the officials are still trying to protect the receiver, but his own man hit him. In essence, that's what happened. And now we'll hear.
We have 2 fouls on the play.
Uh-oh.
Correction, only 1 foul on the play. We have a 15-yard face mask foul against the kicking team. The flags down here against the receiving team or no foul at all because the player was blocked into the receiver. Therefore, there's only one foul. We will mark that off and re-kick the ball.
There you go. Crowd doesn't like it. But, I mean,
well, and it's a good call. If, in fact, there was a face mask back up here, that's exactly what it should have been. The officials, they met together. They decided it.
Well, now they move it back to the 35-yard line. So I still think with 6 seconds, though, unless it's returned. We saw South Carolina do it.
Yeah.
No time in the first half and took it back for a touchdown. So anything can happen with time on the clock. Mark Jones has 1 touchdown. And this one will hit at the 30 and bounce around and bat it in the air, and that'll do it for the first half. So no damage done after the deliberations on the field. But Kentucky has to be happy with a 7-3 lead and some exchanges going on. Kentucky and Tennessee separating before anybody gets into some serious trouble. Kevin Burnett letting people know he means business today. But right now the Wildcats got to feel pretty good with a 7-3 halftime lead on their way to the locker room. Kentucky scored on a nice drive, but then had 2 or 3 opportunities with great field position and could not stick it in the end zone or pick up the field goal, which may come back to haunt them before this day is over because Tennessee hasn't moved it very well. Let's check in with Dave Baker.
Coach, except for the 2 picks, it's been a great first half for you.
Well, it is, but you just can't waste scoring opportunities. We're down there in field goal range on both of them. Those are 2 huge plays that went against us. We made a nice pick there. Burress got his first career interception. Kids are playing hard, but we have to execute a little bit better, and our pass protection's got to hold up better.
All right, thanks, Coach. Best of luck in the second half. That's Rich Brooks. His team goes to the locker room with a 7-3 lead over the Volunteers of Tennessee on Senior Day in Lexington. We're back with more right after this.
7-3 is our score. Kentucky on top. Let's check in with Dave Baker.
Coach, that last drive of the second half, you didn't get it in the end zone, but you did get your offense untracked a little bit.
We finally got a little bit of something done. We haven't thrown it or caught it or ran it or done very much well yet. Hopefully the second half, particularly this first 5 minutes, we'll reestablish ourselves a bit. You got to give Kentucky credit. They've done a good job, but we've been our own worst enemies with penalties and turnovers and just not playing well.
All right, Coach, thanks. It's Philip Fulmer, David.
Thank you, Buzz. Philip obviously not a happy man, but keep this in mind, Tennessee fans. Your team has come from behind in 5 of its 9 wins. In fact, the Vols have been tied or trailed at some point in 9 of their last 10 games. The Fresno State Vandy contest are the only games UT has led from start to finish, and they will now have the football to open up the second half. And I just keep going back and harping on it. It may not play out, Dave, but having the ball against Tennessee at the 45, 50-yard line, and there is Derek Abney, and that'll pretty much tell you the story of Derek Abney. He will be done. Has some foot issues coming into today, and he will sit for the remainder of the game. That kickoff sails through the end zone.
And Dave, that Kentucky defense has really played with emotion in the first half. I mean, they've got pressure on Clausen. They've made him move around in the pocket. They got a great recovery there by Burris to get that interception, and then they just kind of stuffed it up inside. There's been nowhere to run. My question is, can they come out in the second half and play with that much intensity?
Steve Landis will have to deal with a flag on that kickoff. May have been once again, some extracurricular activity around the 25-yard line.
Personal foul. Ooh, that hurts if you're Kentucky.
And they will march it to the 35-yard line. Chad Anderson having a chat with our referee today. Boy, Tennessee has had tough time moving it against this Kentucky defense today. And Kentucky came in defensively. There's 390 yards near the bottom of the SEC in total defense. Against the rush, they were 11th in the league. They have yielded a 4.2 average and 22 touchdowns on the ground. Handoff goes to Jabari Davis. He's out over the 40, broke a couple of tackles. Chad Anderson finally trips him up.
Like I said, my big question in the second half, I've been in that locker room and I've seen teams that are hot, and a lot of times you get in there, you calm down a little bit, you come back out. Can you come out and play with the same enthusiasm? That's the big question for Kentucky. I think if Mike Archer's in there, their defensive coordinator, he can make him play with some enthusiasm.
If Mike Archer's on the field, if he's in there, suited up.
Yeah.
You got a lot of emotion against Mike Archer. Pass is bobbled, incomplete. Tony Brown had his hands on it and bobbled it out of bounds. Sweet Pea Burns came flying in there and put some pressure on Casey Clausen.
Well, I thought Burns had him, but look at this bobble. That's a good call. The official in good position to make the call. He did bobble the ball.
Brown has a couple of drops today. And it is, let me reiterate how cold it is here today. I mean, it is, if we're above 35, I'll be shocked.
Well, Philip Fulmer told me they practiced well this week in the cold. He said it was cold down there in Knoxville.
It wasn't this cold.
No way. Maybe that was wishful thinking.
It's a lot colder than it might appear to you at home, that's for sure. It's a nice sunny day.
Big down here, you got to get a rush.
Clausen slips, fires, and a flag. Leonard Perez got there a little bit too early. James Banks was the intended target. That was plenty of yardage for a first down, but I think Perez just stepped in there about literally a step too soon.
Well, you can't. Perez cannot play through the receiver. You've got to go around him, and I think that's what he did. He played through the receiver trying to knock the ball down. Perez is a senior. He should know better. That's going to be pass interference. And that's 2 key penalties in this series. Again, top of your screen. Now watch when he cuts inside. Now Perez is going to recover, but see how he plays right through him?
Good call.
Yeah. Can't do that.
Perez with his first career interception back in the first half. First down and 10. From the 45 now. Handoff goes to Houston. Cedric Houston pounds his way over Mike Williams to the 20, to the 19. Antoine Humpman finally brings him down. Mike Williams is the biggest hitter on that Kentucky defense, and Cedric Houston just ran right over the top of him.
He levels him. Watch Houston when he cuts through. He got a great hole right there. Now he's running full speed, and he runs into Williams right there, and he just gives him that little dip, gets his feet back under him. That is the kind of running that we expected to see out of Cedric Houston.
Gain of 27 yards. Cedric Houston got off to a great start, but in the last 9 games has less total yardage than he did in the first 2. Lawson to the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. One minute and 30 seconds. The Volunteers march it down. Mark Jones with his 4th touchdown reception of the season, and for Casey Clausen, his 73rd. That is 7-3.
I thought for a minute, Dave, he's going to throw to Banks right there, and he goes deep into the end zone.
73 touchdown passes now by Casey Clausen in his career. 25 touchdowns this season. I mean, when you say those kind of numbers between Jared Lorenzen and Casey Clausen, we told you coming in 150 combined touchdowns between these 2 quarterbacks. We have seen this time and time again. Tennessee leads it by 3. 4 plays, 65 yards, 90 seconds. That was so quick, he couldn't even feel it.
Absolutely, and 2 penalties. Throw those in, 2 15-yard penalties.
I didn't even have a chance to get cold. Drake Davis to midfield. And that's where Kentucky will set up shop after a 42-yard return, a flag down back in Tennessee territory at the 37-yard line.
Where that flag is thrown, you almost always think offside by the kick team.
43 yards on return.
And I think that will be declined.
Yeah.
Encroachment by the kicking team. Penalty refused. First down.
Well, football fans, register for your chance to win $1 million in the Bell South Kick for $1 Million contest. One lucky fan will be given the opportunity to kick for $1 million during halftime of the 2004 Chick-fil-A Beach Bowl in Atlanta on January 2nd. Log on to jpsports.com to register and then start practicing your field goals. Bell South, listening, answering. Glenn Holt through his, I guess you could say, through his arms. Jared Lorenzen back in at quarterback on the opening drive of the second half. Now, Dave, if you're Kentucky, once again, you're at midfield. Sooner or later, as an offense, you got to realize that we're not taking advantage of these opportunities.
Oh, absolutely. They had the ball, what, 4 times, 5 times inside 50-yard line, and they came away with 1 score. You can't do that, especially when you're playing an excellent team like Tennessee. Yeah, they sputtered, but now they're starting to run.
Arliss Beach met at the 45-yard line on a big hit from Jabril Wilson.
Boy, Wilson does stick you. You know, strong safety, number 8. He just comes up there, lays his body on the line. That is one tough hombre. I'd want him on my team, I can tell you that.
Tell you what, I'm impressed with that secondary. When you consider Baker and Greer and Wilson, Jason Allen, the sophomore, is the only one that will be back next year. But those Baker, Wilson, and Greer, 3 seniors, have made an impact in Tennessee over their careers.
Nothing bigger than this series for Kentucky. You don't want to go 3 and out.
Lorenzen steps up, throws through the hands of Chris Bernard, but thrown like a bullet. That's the 5th time today Kentucky has crossed midfield and only has 1 touchdown to show for it. They will have to punt it away on 4th down and 5.
When you got a heavyweight, you can't trade punches. Rich Brooks will tell you that right off the bat. They've missed scoring opportunities. Now they're giving Tennessee a lot of life. They're keeping them in the football game.
Anthony Thornton to punt it away. Mark Jones back to return it. High kick. Sails over the head of Jones, hits at the goal line and bounces into the end zone. A 45-yard punt. Of course, they will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Tennessee moved it 65 yards in 1:30 on their first possession of the second half. And we'll see what this offense has in store. Rich Brooks and his club have put together some pretty good efforts. You know, you talk to him, and he really, the only time his team, he felt, did not play hard was at Vanderbilt, and they paid a price. And as he said to us, everybody on this program was embarrassed by that loss. And not that Vanderbilt didn't deserve to win, but because of their effort. Other than that, this team's played hard.
Yeah, if they had played like they played last week against Georgia, they'd have won that Vanderbilt game probably. Now, can Casey Clausen, he got the running game going.
Handoff goes to Gerald Riggs. Riggs' first carry today. Riggs has led the team in rushing the last 2 games. 184 yards on the ground this year. Sophomore out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's another one of those 220-pounders. Houston goes 215. Davis 225. Riggs 220. And then there's the speedster Corey Larkins at 205.
Do they know how to carry the football? They never fumble. You just don't see fumbles.
At least everybody except Larkins.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why we don't see Corey Larkins a whole lot, because he's of the 4 running backs the one who fumbles.
Well, Jeremy Caudle makes a good play on this one. Watch 68 get out there. Good hustle down the line. That's what you want as a lineman. Come off your block, shed them, and get to the football. And Caudle does a good job.
Well, this crowd is hung tough in this cold weather, and they're trying to get this Kentucky defense to come up with a big stop on 3rd down and 9 and get the football back. Down by 3.
Ball starts with the rush.
Lawson dropped at the 25-yard line, and that'll bring up a 4th down. And the pressure from Kentucky really forced Clausen out of the pocket. And, of course, not exactly fleet of foot is Mr. Clausen.
Well, the pocket collapses. They did a good job 2 sides. First of all, they rush around the outside to get the pressure, but they also collapse the inside of the pocket. And Clausen took his eyes off downfield. That was Lamar Mills that ended up with the sack.
His third this year. Tommy Cook back to return the punt, stands at the 32-yard line. Derek Abney, as we told you, is out. They call it turf toe, but he's had all kinds of foot problems and ankle problems this year. Just never really got healthy, and he is done for the rest of the afternoon. A high spiral that Cook will call for a fair catch at the... I thought he called for a fair catch. He might have been shielding himself from the sun, but he's still on his feet and drops a football. I never saw a beanbag come in, but let's see if it was a fumble.
Well, you know, I thought he signaled fair catch too.
It is Tennessee football.
You can't go up and block the sun with your hand up there. It looks too much like a fair catch. Look at this right here. That's fair catch to me.
That is a definite fair catch.
Now you get in traffic, you got to put the ball away. Right there, you got to put the ball away. Get that other hand on it. Tennessee does a good job tackling the ball. Got a helmet right on the ball. That might have been Mark Jones, number 10, who gets that rip in there. Right there.
So, Tommy Cook, on a punt return, coughs it up. Tennessee with their best starting field position this afternoon. That's the fourth turnover for Kentucky. Boston slides down at the 37-yard line, right in front of Darrell White, the true freshman outside linebacker.
Boy, that was an interesting formation. What Casey Clausen did is he sent two wideouts. He had one at the top with Burress covering, and he had the other one at the bottom with Huffman. Burress had good coverage. Huffman had good coverage. They just covered him just right down the field, forced him to run with the football.
For the best deals on cars, trucks, and SUVs, visit your local Toyota dealer today. Second and 7. Clausen under pressure. Troy Fleming with the catch and run out of bounds at the 35-yard line. He is picked up, I guess, about 2 yards. That'll bring up a third down and 5.
Well, I talked, could Kentucky play with the same emotion? They are playing with emotion, Dave. They had good pressure that time. Caudle got in on Clausen, forced him to make a quick throw. Mike Archer, defensive coordinator, there you see Sweet Pea in there. They're making some pressure on this Kentucky team. They are getting to the football. Big down here.
Three-man front by Kentucky. Here comes the blitz. Little delay handoff. First down and more. Gerald Riggs on the carry. Picks up about 8 on the play, but a good play call by Tennessee to offset the blitzing linebackers from Kentucky.
Well, in a draw play, if you break the seam right there, you break the seam. Now you're into the secondary. You've got your wideouts going downfield. The secondary has to respond. So it's a good call if you can just split them. And they did.
Well, Mike Archer was telling us about Georgia last week. Finally started adapting to the Kentucky blitz with the delayed handoff draw plays, and the results were gains of 6 and 7 yards, and that's what we just saw by the Volunteers. Riggs again moves the pile inside the 25 down to the 24-yard line. Dustin Williams with his 4th tackle today.
And all of a sudden, again, you get the feeling that this Tennessee offensive line is starting to take control. The big guys up front getting some seams, making some holes. I think Phil Fulmer had a halftime talk that might have been real interesting.
Well, this season could have gone south in a hurry with a loss today.
Yeah. There's an audible call at the line. You see him signaling out.
Some more pressure. Clausen sees it, fires over the outstretched hands of James Banks. And that will bring up a third down and 6.
Boy, and if you're in that defensive huddle, you're turning around saying, hey, you hold them to a field goal. If you're Randy Sanders in the offense, you don't want to settle for a field goal. Mike Archer See if he comes with pressure. Big down here, you've got to get pressure. You can't let Clausen just sit back there and watch and look downfield.
3rd and 6th. 6th play of the drive. Clausen fires. Incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down and a pretty good stop by the Kentucky defense.
That's a huge stop. They got good pressure up front. They forced an errant pass. Good coverage downfield. You see Burress, he's got that one-on-one coverage. Excellent job. Ooh, got a little bump in the back right there.
Ball was tipped.
Yeah, that's why. Oh, that's what it was. It was tipped first.
So Philip Fulmer going for it. 4th and 6.
Got to stay on sides if your defense be disciplined.
They've already converted 1 4th down today. Clausen fires. Incomplete. Kentucky takes over on downs. Troy Fleming was the intended target. Pressure came from Lamar Mills.
Boy, Mills is just a freshman in there, number 45, but he got great pressure. He forced Casey Clausen to take his eyes off downfield. He came in there.
So Kentucky's defense stands tall on 4th down. 7:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Wildcats trail by 3. 10-7 our score. 7th-ranked Tennessee trailed at halftime 7-3. 3rd quarter action, and Kentucky's defense just stopped Tennessee on 4th down. Quick hitter to Tommy Cook. Cook near side to the 30-yard line. Well, let's go down to Dave Baker with our Alltel sideline connection. And Dave, there is one person who we expected to be here today who didn't make it. Explain.
Yeah, we heard earlier from the Wildcat superfan Jim Brown, but Gus Manning, a special assistant to the athletics director at Tennessee, had seen every volunteer football game since 1951, 606. Last night he was coming to Lexington after the Vols basketball game, got out of the van, twisted an ankle. He was taken back to Knoxville today for x-rays. We don't know the results of those, but we know Gus is watching. 606, I believe the streak has stopped at. And Gus, we wish you well and hope you're back soon.
Arliss Beach on the carry, and thanks, Buzz. We certainly send out our best wishes to Gus as well. A huge Tennessee fan, and you know there are a lot of dedicated people in this league, Dave, at every school. But like Jim Brown and our buddy Gus, there, few match these kind of dedicated fans.
You realize 600 games? I mean, you're talking about, golly, that's a lot of years, my friend.
Let's take a look at some scores from the Southeastern Conference or involve SEC teams. Georgia over Georgia Tech 20-3 right now at halftime. Virginia Tech and Virginia. The Hokies up top by a touchdown, that too at half. And that will be a first down after the measurement. Of course, Florida State coming up at 3:30 today. And as we told you, Florida fans probably huge Kentucky fans right now. Georgia fans, huge Tennessee fans right now.
It's the only time of the year they're going to pull for them, that's for sure.
Say what you want about the BCS, but it has created kind of an odd cheering section in the Southeastern Conference. Lorenzen to fire over the middle. Knocked out of there by Jabril Wilson. Keenan Burton was the intended target.
Boy, Wilson just played that as well as you can. That's so hard to play. It's a slant pattern, just a little post to the inside at about 10-12 yards. It's just going to come right in. It's going to right in your screen. Look at that coverage. Just got the hand right in there. That's just marvelous. And again, this is a dart. And look at that left hand come up. Just knock the ball away. Like I said, he can play on my team anytime he wants to.
Second down and 10. Lorenzen fires as he's hit, and no flag on the play. Crowd desperately wanted it. Chris Bernard was the Intended target coverage was by Jason Allen. Pressure came from Kevin Simon. Let's go back and take a look at Jason Allen. Did he get there too early? I would say that's a yes.
Yes.
Now, on the other side of that, the ball could have been uncatchable, but generally they'd throw a flag and it will explain that it was an uncatchable ball. We didn't see that.
Well,
Jared Larenton in his final game in a Kentucky uniform, 9 of 19. In this half, he's 1 of 5.
boy, he needs one here.
Oh, my goodness. Jabril Wilson. And let's hope Chris Bernard is okay.
Wow, you talk about a hit. This is a hit.
Oh,
boy, did you see that hit snap back? Boy, this is just a dart. Look at that. Oh!
Chris Bernard out of Mission Viejo, California, the senior.
Boy, that was a stick. You could hear that. Wow. Yeah, look at his helmet. Look at the helmet. The helmet is over here. Goodness gracious.
This helmet may be bent.
Man, Wilson just nailed it. He saw him right off the ball. I mean, he just closed on a full speed. That is a picture-perfect tackle.
High kick from Anthony Thornton. Fair catch called for at the 25 by Mark Jones. And that's where Tennessee will take over. 5:52 to play in the third quarter. Tennessee leads it 10-7. We will return after word from your local stations.
At the end of that last punt return, Tennessee signaled 15 yards for a personal foul. So Dave Neal, the ball started even a deeper hole as the shadows grow longer here at Commonwealth Stadium.
Yeah, some extracurricular play after the play was blown dead. Now Tennessee's backed up. Clausen going up top. Incomplete near midfield, looking for James Banks. James with 37 catches on the year. Huffman and Williams back to defend the pass of Casey Clausen. Mike Williams, the junior out of Tallahassee, Florida. Only 185 pounds and not a big secondary, to say the least. Last week, Georgia just was a much bigger, stronger, more physical receiving corps than this Kentucky secondary, and it paid off as the game wore on for Georgia. Handoff goes to Cedric Houston, and Cedric will pick up the first down.
Boy, huge hole there for Cedric Houston. When he came off the line, he didn't even have to break stride. Watch the hole. They got a twist in the middle. Right in here's a twist. He goes this way, and Houston's just going to break it right up the middle. Look at this. Just split him now. Just find that little seam. He goes into secondary. Interesting call. Twist on that second down and 10 yards to go.
And he needs to pad his fullback in the backside as well. Troy Fleming came in there and made a nice block to create that hole. Clausen scrambles outside, being chased, throws it out of bounds, and he was outside the 5-yard. I guess it's the best way to say it. 5 yards on either side of the football outside of that box, and threw it out of bounds past the line of scrimmage, so no intentional grounding, but pressure came from a couple of guys.
Well, Sweet Pea, Vincent Burns gets great pressure. Good move right there. It's a rip to get to the outside. And you know what? Look at that. He's got that foot taped right there. That indicates he sprained that ankle, but what a warrior. Coming off there, he knows his team needs it. He's got a good motor on him, as they say.
He has started every game since he transferred in from Northern Arizona. That's 23 straight ball games for the junior from Lake Park, Georgia. Clausen hit from behind and dropped at the 22. Ellery Moore, the nose tackle. Kentucky's 29th sack of the season.
Well, give a little bit of this credit to Vincent Burns. He occupied 2 people in the middle. He goes inside hard. You see Ellery Moore just coming out there, just coming hard. It's amazing that Clausen didn't cough up that football on that play. They needed pressure, they got it.
Ellery Moore has a lot of family on this team. He's a cousin of Antonio Hall, Chad Anderson, and Shane Boyd. It's a family affair in Lexington. 3rd and 18 now for Casey Clausen and the Tennessee Vols. 4:16 and counting to go in the 3rd quarter. Fleming got back to the original line of scrimmage, a gain of 8 before Michael Williams drops him. And once again, Tennessee will have to send out Dustin Colquitt to punt it away. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. Glad you could join us on the final regular season Saturday in SEC football. Dave Neal, Dave Rowe, and Dave Buzz Baker along with you today on a marvelous day for football. Tommy Cook holds on to it this time, out to the 35-yard line. 48-yard kick, a 9-yard return, and Cook's slow to get up now.
Boy, Cook cradled that ball that time, Dave. He wasn't going to cough it up again, and he took a big shot.
Hey fans, now's your chance to enter the Toyota Tundra Double Cab You Pick 'em football contest. Just go online at jpsports.com, click on the Toyota banner to register and pick the winners. Weekly prizes will be given to the participant with the highest point total. At season's end, a randomly picked grand prize winner to be revealed on December 8th will receive a new 2004 Toyota Tundra 4-door D-cab truck. The Toyota You Pick 'em football contest. Tommy Cook today with 5 catches, 37 yards. As we told you earlier, 5 catches last week against Georgia for 47 yards. The junior out of Victoria, Texas, returning punts because Derek Abney is out with a bad foot.
Watch this stick right here. 3 of them. Bam, bam, and here comes another one. Bam. That's a big stick. But you know, you take Derek Abney out of the offense. Now you take Tommy Cook out of the offense. Your 2 wide receivers, you're going pretty deep in receivers. Now you're going to have to bring in somebody like a Shane Boyd, quarterback, let him run at a wide receiver.
Burton's not 100% healthy. They're true freshmen. Cook looks like he might have tweaked a knee or ankle. Right about now, Tommy Cook's going, why did Derek Abney have to go down with an injury? I didn't need to be back there. So Kentucky, with 3:22 to go in the 3rd quarter, has the ball first down at 10 from the 35. Lorenzen. Play action, pump fakes, and dropped at the 27-yard line. Constantine Richmond, the first man there, a loss of 8 yards.
Boy, great speed rush. Ritzman from the top of your screen is going to come in hard. Play fake right there, and when he turns around, Ritzman is right in his face. When they get their hands on him, they don't let him go.
And Matt Huff, as you look at Richmond, Matt Huff, the left tackle, is injured right now for Kentucky. They are thin on the offensive line to start with. Losing a starter like Matt Huff will only make it a more desperate situation up front. The 300-pounder out of Louisville, Kentucky. Already Antonio Hall, the preseason All-American right tackle, is out with a concussion, and Rich Brooks knows that that is perhaps the thinnest position they have at Kentucky, is on the offensive line. And there's Tommy Cook, the wide receiver, and he will head in for the day, although he might want to scooch over right now the way Matt Huff looks. And how about Derek Abney?
Yeah, he's going to ride in.
They got to bring in another cart.
It's going to be a bus. Just a couple more minutes. Well, Huff looks to be in the ankle area or knee area, but
there is Antonio Hall, the senior right tackle. Had started 45 consecutive games. That is every game since he has been at Kentucky since a freshman year, except for today.
And he said to me, of all the games to miss, I've got to miss Tennessee. He said, it's a team I love to play against. He said, and I've got to miss it. You know, we may be able to see what happened to Huff. He's number 61. Let's see if we can see what happens here. Watch the legs.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Rolled on the back of it. You know, that's the most vulnerable spot for an offensive lineman. You can't see it coming.
We only need to see that one time, I think.
Yeah.
There goes Tommy Cook.
Yeah, you know, you got all your protection up in front of you. That's where all your strength is, and somebody rolls on the back of your legs, and you never see it coming.
Well, here's a look at the SEC bowl picture and where the SEC is slotted to go. Of course, the top team from the Southeastern Conference, the winner of the championship game, will be the first selection if they can. Basically, if it's LSU, they will have a chance if they can jump USC to move into that top spot, which is into the Sugar Bowl. But these are all the connections that the SEC has to bowl games. Now, the newest addition is the EV1.net Houston Bowl, which is the 8th selection, but the Southeastern Conference only has 7 eligible bowl teams. Here's the BCS standings right now, and of course a lot of eyes are focused at LSU and can they jump Southern Cal, but right now in terms of the SEC championship game, all the eyes are at Georgia, Tennessee, and Florida. Who's going to come out of that pack and play LSU? And I'll tell you what, I don't know if I want to play LSU right now, man.
Not after what I saw yesterday.
Congratulations to Nick Saban, by the way. Another great job by him and his coaching staff.
Oh, got to catch that one.
Gerald Parker drops the football and can't afford to do that on a 2nd and 17. Now it's 3rd down.
Well, it's crossing pattern. It's not a hard ball to catch. Look at it. You just got to catch it away from your body. You got to catch it in your hands. Now see if he doesn't come right back to him, because you can make it up. A lot of times you'll see a quarterback come back.
Something tells me that it might not go there right now.
Well, he's not going to Abney. He's not going to Tommy Cook either.
Lorenzen fires, looking for Holt. And that'll bring up a 4th down, and Lorenzen is down at the 16-yard line. Pressure came from Kevin Burnett.
Boy, you know, you don't like the way Lorenzen is laying there. You see, when you wiggle like that, you're hurt. That young man took a shot.
Kevin Burnett, the junior out of Carson, California, has battled his way back from a serious knee injury a year ago.
Watch number 2. Oh, yeah, he caught him with his arm up, and then he came down. He fell down on that right arm. Looked like that right arm was underneath him. Watch, his right arm is underneath him, and he falls down on his shoulder.
How many times have we seen that from a quarterback, falling on the shoulder as he's driven to the ground? And there's Burnett, who's coming over to see.
Yeah, it was a clean hit. Burnett got a good pass rush in there. Ball got off. He was within a step of him.
Jared Lorenzen now with 855 career completions. He is 8 short of Peyton Manning for the all-time SEC lead in that department. Today he is 10 of 22 for 78 yards.
You see Shane Boyd right there, number 7. A lot of concern on his face.
Jared Lorenzen really wanted to play well today. His final game, senior day here in Lexington. Last year against the Volunteers in Knoxville, he went 9 of 23 for 59 yards in a 24-0 loss, as Matt Huff is now wheeled off and sent into that Kentucky locker room. We certainly wish Matt well, but I mean, this is an ongoing theme right now with Kentucky.
Well, they've lost 4 big-time players in the last 3 plays.
Remember, Bo Smith is a guy right now who's a defensive back who's not even playing today with a pulled groin. Antonio Hall's already out. Some guys came in here at 50%.
You see how his right arm is just pinned against him, and he comes right down on that shoulder. You see him reach for his shoulder, reaches up in the collarbone area. Again, falls down on it, gets that arm pinned underneath him. Well, he's a tough kid. Let me tell you this. If there's a way he can come back in, he'll come back in. He's that tough a kid. We saw him do an amazing thing that time when he had that bad thumb. They didn't know if he was going to play and ended up throwing for, what, 400, 500 yards that day. Just an incredible day.
78 yards today for Jared Lorenzen. You know, as a freshman against Tennessee, he threw for 328 yards. And then as a sophomore, he threw for 406. That was in 2001 when Kentucky jumped out to a 21-0 lead before Tennessee woke up and came back to win. Thornton now will punt it away. We'll get Dave Baker on that Lorenzen injury as soon as we find out more. Mark Jones dancing and bobbing his way out over the 40. Good return from Mark Jones.
On the tackle, Maurice Marshman.
Well, fans, JPSports.com has the coverage you want. No one knows the SEC like JP Sports, and we bring the information to you online. Tune in each week for previews of upcoming games, broadcast information, and many other exciting features. JPSports.com, brought to you by the Rechargeable Battery Recycling Corporation. Buzz, what's the situation down on that Kentucky bench?
Dave, as you guys have been talking about, it is an injury to the right shoulder. It's not one of those stingers. They're taking a look at whether the shoulder is structurally sound after it was driven into the ground. They're going to ice it, see if they can get him back in there.
Thanks, Buzz. Handoff goes to Jabari Davis. Gets a couple. Michael Williams in on the tackle. Well, as far as icing that shoulder, all he needs to do is take the shirt off. It's so cold here.
Well, fortunately for him, it's his right shoulder. It's his non-throwing arm. And he's a tough kid. Like I said, if there's a chance he can come back, he will.
He has started 40 of 42 games that he has played. For the best deals on cars, trucks, and SUVs, visit your local Toyota dealer today. There is Shane Boyd. He will step in. He's already played a couple of series under center this afternoon. Didn't play but a couple of snaps last week at Georgia, had a bad ankle. In motion is Mark Jones. He'll take the handoff. Jones running into a lot of blue jerseys. Kentucky all over that play. Irvin Flowers led the charge.
Dave, you've got to play your keys, and that's what Kentucky is doing. They're playing backside key. Right up there is backside key. Now you got to get up and force them back inside. There's where your help is. They do a good job of that, getting upfield, turning them back.
Ellery Moore, the nose tackle, in good pursuit, setting up Flowers for the tackle. Third down conversions have been a nightmare today for Tennessee. Casey Clausen under center on 3rd and 6. Swings it near side, and Cedric Houston had to reach for it, but drops the football.
Boy, Houston did exactly what they tell you not to do. Take your eye off the ball. We've got another player down on the field.
Looks like Cody Douglas, the 315-pounder.
Well, you start thinking about things, you know, these players all come in here, they're all nicked. They've all got sprains and strains all over the place, knees and ankles, and you know, it's a cold day. They just seem to be mounting up.
When it's certainly on a cold day, the pain might magnify a little bit. Like when you hit me about an hour ago, it felt a lot different than the other times when you've popped me.
That's because you were standing too close to me.
And what's the latest on Jared Lorenzen, Buzz?
It sounds like a replay deal, but after further review, they're now saying mild separation of that right shoulder. Again, it may be a situation where he can get back in there, but they'll evaluate him and make that decision shortly.
Colquitt to punt for the 6th time today. He's averaging almost 44 a kick this afternoon. Keenan Burton back to return the punt, and he lets it Hit it to 15, inside the 5. A 57-yard kick, 51-yard kick from Dustin Colquitt. And how about this now from Dustin Colquitt? That is now his 18th punt over 50 yards this year.
Man, that's a weapon.
Oh, boy.
And inside the 5-yard line.
So 34 seconds to go in the third quarter. Kentucky hanging in there. I mean, it's 10-7. And Lorenzen comes back into the football game.
Tough
with a
kid.
Slightly separated shoulder in his final game. He's not going down without a fight. Nowhere to go is Alexi Begingi, and a gain of about a yard on the play. Jason Hall, the first white jersey on the spot. That'll bring up second down. And after Lorenzen handed the ball off, you can see him kind of grimace in pain.
Well, if he can throw the ball, he needs to throw it out of here. You don't run it out, especially against a good team like Tennessee.
Lorenzen to throw, lofts it up, looking for Holt. Got it! But out of bounds, he was juggling it right in front of Philip Fulmer. Lorenzen took a shot as he let it go. Jason Allen was on the coverage of Holt.
Boy, how did Holt ever bobble that ball? That was a great throw. Just needed to come down with it.
That is the end of the third quarter. Kentucky has been battling injuries and Tennessee all day. 1 quarter left in the Kentucky season. Do they have enough left in the tank to knock off the 7th-ranked Vols? The last play of the third quarter, the crowd has been up in arms the last couple of minutes because of this. Glenn Holt appears to have made the catch. He has 2 feet in bounds before he juggles it out of bounds.
That's a catch right there. That's a catch. Now he's out of bounds.
You only need that 1 foot. He had possession with 1 foot.
Absolutely. That's a missed call.
Tennessee fans will argue with us probably till the end of the afternoon. But I think that was a pretty good catch.
We just call them like we see them.
Over the middle, pass is caught, and that is a first down. Chris Bernard on the grab, a gain of 12, and that will move the chains.
Boy, they needed this one. Deep in their zone territory, Jared Lorenzen throws a strike out here. 82 on a pattern in between the zone, and look at that. Goes up high for it, brings it down inside.
Our accurate third quarter stats show Tennessee winning the rushing battle. Pretty not much of an air attack today between these two guys that have combined to throw for over 20,000 yards.
Looks like about a 10-7 score.
Lorenzen lofts it up again, looking for Holt. Now, Ron Hudson, the offensive coordinator, told us yesterday that if they have to get into a pitch and catch situation, Lorenzen's best throw is the fade. He says he doesn't know anybody he's ever been around a quarterback that throws that fade route any better.
Yeah, he really does. And that fade is so powerful because it allows the receiver to look back for the ball. The defender cannot look back for the ball. He needs to come up with some hero plays right now. Second down, he can lead his team down. They're still within striking distance.
Shane Boyd is in at receiver. The top of the screen. 3 receivers to the near side. That's where Kentucky will go. It's Chris Bernard. Bernard turns the corner. Needs to get to the 29-yard line for it to be a first down. Glenn Holt with a nice block on that near side. See where they mark that football. I think there'll be see where they mark it. It's going to be close to a first down, and they will bring the chains across the field.
Well, they got a couple good blocks, as you said, downfield, right at the marker. Holt got a good block. He knocked his defender down, and that play has worked well for them.
Georgia now opening it up against Georgia Tech, 27-3. And Virginia has bounced back. You know, Virginia's had an up and down roller coaster season. I thought that they would have a remarkable season. Many people expected them to contend and win an ACC championship this year, but it just didn't go their way. And that will be a first down.
Well, these are the situations when you can become a hero, and Kentucky's got an opportunity here. 14 minutes left. You're down 10-7. You've got a quarterback that's come off the field. You've got a coach that's saying, hey, we're going to play lights out today. We're going for the marbles, so why not? If you're Tennessee, you got to stop them. Got to step up. Somebody needs to make a big play.
Lorenzen 12 of 26 for 103 yards today. Playing with a slightly separated right shoulder. Handoff goes to Beach. Only a couple on the play. Robert Peace in the middle makes the tackle for Tennessee. Another Kentucky player gets up slow.
Can't afford to lose Jason Rollins, number 70. He gets up limping. But now's not the time to limp. Now's the time when the cream rises to the top and you see what you're made of. Tennessee's got a stellar defense. They've got good players all the way across the board. They've had a lot of injuries. They've had a lot of situations where they had to replace them. They need to stop.
Play action. Lorenzen with a bad throw to Jeremiah Drobny. Down at Drobny's feet, and Jared knows that was probably not his best effort today.
You see that shaking of the head? You just kind of shake it off. You just say, hey, that's my bad. You look over, pick up your play, see what they want you to run. Big down here, 3rd and 9. Don't want to give it back.
This is the 8th play of the drive, and they're only out to the 30-yard line. Not many times will you run 8 plays and only get to the 30. 5 of 13 on 3rd downs. Kentucky pretty good in that department all season. Batted in the air, right back to Lorenzen. Pump fakes and run out of bounds, and he's a little hot at himself.
I think he thought he could throw it again. Well, see, when he came out there, then all of a sudden he realized he had to run the ball, but that's one you just want to knock down.
Justin Harrell batted the ball up in the air and went right back to Jared Lorenzen. Now he can join Shane Boyd as a receiver in the stats department.
Yeah, this is the one you just want to knock down. You don't have a chance of outrunning him.
So Thornton again will punt for UK. Back for UT, it's Mark Jones, and Kentucky has struggled on offense since the first quarter of this game, and that is just a horrible, horrible punt by Thornton.
Gosh, that was end over end.
Tennessee will have unbelievable field position after that punt. They say it went out of bounds at the 42-yard line. A 24-yard kick. 13:08 to go in the ball game. Tennessee by 3. Tennessee with great field position, up by 3. 13:08 to go in the football game. Ball sits at the 42-yard line of Kentucky. Lawson over the middle. Pass is caught by Mark Jones. That'll be a first down inside right about the 30-yard line. Huffman on the coverage for UK.
Just turn in right there, get a little separation, look the ball in. I just wonder how many times you can ask your Kentucky defense to come out there and stop them. You've got to move the ball on offense. You've got a good football team in Tennessee. They're going to move the ball eventually.
Mark Jones now with 3 receptions for 36 yards. Lawson under pressure, fires. His receiver fell down. He got tripped up. It was Tony Brown. He got tripped up with Irvin Flowers. No flag on the play. Just that incidental contact that will happen from time to time.
Boy, and Randy Sanders is an excellent offensive coach. What he says is that when you get in these bad situations, you just got to play your way through it. You just have to play through it. And that's what Casey Clausen is having to do. He's not having a good day. Just play on.
I had a chance to speak with Randy today. He's been down on the sidelines the last 3 or 4 years. But used to be up in the box. Says he's more into the game down the sidelines. It's a better feel for things. Clausen dropped. What a sack. Dustin Williams on a delayed blitz. I don't even think Clausen saw him coming.
Wow. He may not have seen him coming, but he felt him when he got there. Number 59's on a blitz right up the middle. Look at that dart.
Oh,
I mean, he just wrapped him around the chest and took him down.
Gosh, have we seen some hits today. That'll fire up a defense.
Still playing with emotion.
So 3rd down and 17 now after the 7-yard loss. Boy, this Kentucky defense has stood tall today, but how long, Dave, can they keep it going? And there's a close play in terms of delay of game. No flags down as James Banks makes the catch. Well, Segale makes the stop for the Wildcats. Quarterback pressure that time came from Deion Holtz. And here we go again, 4-down territory for Philip Fulmer. 3rd time today he's gone for it. He's 1 of 2.
Well,
or excuse me, I'm sorry, I need to take that back. Yeah, I didn't see Will Hoyt check in. My correction.
Well, he needs this field goal that gets away from a field goal tie in the game. But it's still a touchdown.
And the kick is perfect. How about that from James Will Hoyt, 47 yards. This guy is hot. Now made 13 of his last 14 over the last 5 games. Look at our score by quarter here, and Kentucky with a great opening drive. Leads 7-0 in the first quarter, and since then they have struggled, and Tennessee hasn't exactly been impressive, but at least Tennessee's found a way to put some points on the board.
They've distanced themselves a little bit with that last field goal, but they're still within a touchdown of losing this football game, so they need more points.
Glenn Holt drops it at the goal line, and he's dropped at the 16-yard line. And as we go back and look at how this game has unfolded, it started early on, Dave. This is your kind of weather with snow and ice all over the place.
Well, it's senior day, and the seniors all greeting each other. And Beach started off, you talked about their great effort to start off. A good drive set the tone, and then all of a sudden they got down here. Stewart intercepted the ball and took away one scoring opportunity. Burress comes back and gets an interception. So it's been going back and forth. Clausen finally found a touchdown. And then the two field goals. So really, it's just gone back and forth, back and forth.
Kentucky has had to punt on their last 6 possessions. Lorenzen fires. And the pass is bobbled and dropped by Wynn Gaffron. Jabril Wilson on the coverage, and Jared Lorenzen staying in the game. Has a slightly separated right shoulder from what we understand from the medical staff. There's a look at the total yards today. It is these two teams can put up some points. As we told you, they combined to score 60 points a game.
That second half has just not been Kentucky. They've not moved the ball. They've called upon their defense time and time again. Eventually, you got to take the pressure off the defense. You got to move the chains.
Lorenzen fires over to the far side. Keenan Burton gets about 3 or 4 on the play, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
I've been watching Lorenzen a couple times. Look, this is with the play before, and look how he gets up. He doesn't put any pressure on that right arm. You see that right arm, he's just kind of carrying it up against him. Very courageous play by him.
Kind of reminiscent of how Brody Croyle had played midway through the season. He just got Brody, the Alabama quarterback, just beat up early in that season. Played with a separated shoulder, non-throwing shoulder. Oh, Tennessee all over. Keenan Burton popped by Jabari Greer. They may have lost a couple of yards, and that'll bring up another punting situation. The 7th straight punt now for Kentucky, 8 today.
Well, Gerald Parker on that play has got to make his block. If he makes his block, they have a shot. He didn't make his block out there. Results were stuck in the backfield. Kentucky's going to give it back up again. Tennessee's going to get great field position. You just can't keep on trading. You've got to do something on offense. But if you're Tennessee, how about your defense? You've stopped them, what, 5-6 times in a row.
Thornton's punt this time. It's a little bit better, and Jones lets it bounce down to the 34-yard line, and that is where the Volunteers will take over. But Kentucky running out of time, 9:01 to play in this football game. And Tennessee, after the back-to-back losses to Auburn and Georgia, have rattled off 5 straight wins and have been dominating. And nobody gave him a chance down in Miami earlier this year. And Casey Clausen didn't have big numbers, but he didn't lose the football game. Coach Phil Fulmer said, you know what? I'm not really going to expect you to win this thing. Don't lose it. I'm going to turn it over to the defense. They stepped up, played exceptionally well.
Well, how about that 4th down call when he ran the reverse and went for it, scored the touchdown? That was an amazing call by Philip Fulmer.
And the Kentucky coaches, when they go back and look at film, says that this Tennessee team has changed dramatically since that win. Handoff gets 4 or 5 yards on the play out over the 35. Jabari Davis on the carry, brought down by Trey Melch.
Had a fun time talking with Mike Archer yesterday. Very enthusiastic. Really thinks he's got a lot of keys to this team for the long run. So we've got a lot of players that have really improved this year.
You know, I asked him yesterday, they were able to redshirt quite a few defensive players, and I said, how many of those guys can contribute next year? He says at least a half a dozen will be on the field next year.
That's big.
Play clock down to 2. Handoff goes to Jabari Davis. Sweet Pea Burns all over it. Finally brought down by Jeremy Caudle. But Sweet Pea just blew it up.
Boy, Sweet Pea Burns, 98. He almost gets the handoff. Look at him right there. He's got him. He's 3 yards in the backfield. Just taking that inside loop, taking that gap, coming inside. Great penetration.
Another big 3rd down conversion. They're all big in a 3-point or 6-point game, but when the clock is ticking at 7:41, it's even bigger. And how about this? Tennessee today, 2 of 12 on 3rd down conversions. Clausen hit, swings it near side. Troy Fleming. Fleming might have the 1st down. The 1st down marker is at the 44-yard line. If the nose of the ball hits the 44, it'll be the 1st down.
Boy, and he had just faked out Mike Williams and Irvin Flowers. He just faked them out on this run. Little swing out of the backfield, pressure right in his face. Watch this, right in here. He's going to make 32 and 1 miss and then get the 1st down.
That is very close.
Yeah. Well, if you're Tennessee, you'd like nothing better than to get this 1st down. Maybe you can run some more time off the clock.
Move the chains for the Tennessee Vols. Troy Fleming, the senior out of Franklin, Tennessee, a quiet, unsung contributor to this team, came in out of high school with huge accolades. I mean, he's among the top 5 all-time leading rushers in high school football history. But he has done the other things while at Tennessee this year, over his career, I should say, in terms of being the glue, I guess.
None bigger than that last play.
Davis turns it back inside. It's 3, maybe 4 on the play. Williams and Burns in on the tackle. I tell you what, I'm just impressed with a couple of things here today. Casey Clausen playing with a sinus infection, and they didn't know how much he would be able to go today. It's really been bothering him, but this is one of the things that stand out to me. 9,300 career passing yards, now 6th in the Southeastern Conference. Just past Shane Matthews in in that department. That handoff goes to Davis. And who's in on that tackle? Sweet Pea Burns. Dave, Sweet Pea's a guy we didn't know how much would go today. We've talked about his ankle injury. But this has been a guy from day one when things were not going well early this season. Every snap, every play came with his best. He leads the Southeastern Conference in tackles for loss. He's got 31 tackles for loss in his career. And he has a tattoo on his forearm that says DSGB. It stands for just a down south Georgia boy.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's played upfield today. Great penetration.
Sweet Pea might have gotten a head start on 3rd down and 2. I think Burns, who made the tackle, I think he jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah, he's trying to get penetration. He knows he's going to be doubled on the play. Watch it right there, and he gets doubled. You see him get doubled, trying to force his way through just a little bit early.
Defense is in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, and that's enough yardage for a first down.
5:15 as Sweet Pea jumped the gun. Tennessee coaches told us that Sweet Pea is very similar to a David Pollock. Just you got to get somebody on him. He just creates so much havoc.
Well, you play great defense. You play it in the opponent's backfield, and that's what he does. He gets that great penetration. He disrupts the flow of the play. He gets pressure on the quarterback. But how about Casey Clausen just doing what he has to? Again, we talked about the intangibles. He just keeps on winning.
13-1 on the road as a starter in Tennessee. Handoff goes to Cedric Houston, and Kentucky playing hard, stringing it out. Mike Williams finally brings him down. Our Hummer scoreboard looks like this. Georgia Tech just scored a touchdown. 27-10 now, the Bulldogs lead. Virginia Tech trailing by a couple of touchdowns. 28-14, that one getting late. Frank Beamer's club has kind of headed south the last 4 or 5 weeks. 2nd down and 10 now. 7th play of this drive coming up, and the clock continues to move. Clausen goes to the senior. Fleming stays inbounds and picks up the first down. A heads-up play by your senior. Chad Anderson and Irvin Flowers finally bring him down. And already, Dave, this drive has taken 5:15 off the clock.
Well, when you got a back coming out of the backfield and a linebacker, Chad Anderson has got him one-on-one. Look at the effort by Fleming just to make that first down. And stay in bounds, keep the clock going. Randy Sanders sure likes it. Philip Fulmer likes it.
This is reminiscent of a drive a few years ago, Dave. We had a chance to do Tennessee, South Carolina. Tennessee just marched it 80 yards on the ground against the Gamecocks and came back to win that game. Where it was a lengthy 7-8 minute type of drive. Look at Cedric Houston. Keep churning down to the 25-yard line.
Houston.
Kentucky, Dave, does have 3 timeouts left.
Well, Houston just ran through 2 tackles right at the line. He got stuck on the line of scrimmage, and he just burst through. That's the Cedric Houston that Tennessee needs to have run the football. Great effort. And you know how protective of they are of the ball. We talked about them not fumbling. They just do not fumble the football.
Yeah, Houston, Davis, and Riggs, the 3 main, I guess, couriers of the football, don't put it on the ground. Houston again. That'll bring up a 3rd down and short. Warren Wilson comes in to make the tackle.
Well, a good effort by Wilson. Come from the outside, just swipe the feet.
Timeout taken by Kentucky, 2:35 to go. I think that look says it all. I don't know what it says. It says something. 2:35 to go, and Tennessee marching it down the field. But a big 3rd down and 3. The Wildcats need a stop. Handoff. Cedric Houston, first down, Tennessee. A 9-yard pickup.
But how about the explosiveness of Cedric Houston? Watch this. Never wavered on the play. Knew what he had to get. Protect that football. Keep it in tight. Get a first down. He burst through the hole.
Another timeout taken by Kentucky. That's their second timeout. And we'll step aside as well. 2:28 to play.
On the Wildcat.
2:28 to go. First down and 10 for Tennessee. This drive, 10 plays, 50 yards, and look at the amount of time it has taken off the clock. It started at 9:01. There goes Cedric Houston, gets 3 or 4, and Kentucky, with 1 timeout remaining, will use it right here, and then there's nothing else they can do about it. We'll step aside as well. On second down and 7, handoff goes to Cedric Houston, and no timeouts left for Kentucky. Today, Cedric Houston, 10 carries, 74 yards. Jabbar Davis, 14 carries for 56 yards. Casey Clausen this afternoon has not had one of his great games, so to speak, but you know what he's done, Dave? He hasn't cost his team. You know, he's just wants. This is the kind of game where he's not forcing the issue. He's 11 of 26 for 110 yards with a touchdown and an interception, but
no, he's played well enough to win. That's what he did. You know, while we have a quick second, I just want to wish Philip Fulmer's wife had some surgery this week, Vicky, and he said to me down on the field, he said, tell her I was thinking about her. So, Philip Fulmer.
And Tennessee takes a timeout on 3rd down and 4. I know they want to milk the clock, but well, it's the final regular season game, and a lot of people to thank here at Jefferson Pilot Sports. Of course, nobody more important than the person that hires us. Jimmy Raven, our executive producer, and Rob Reichley, our producer, Todd Minhennett, Gary Clem, and Tom Smith, a couple of directors this year. Pretty much this entire crew, Kelly Collier, Robin Russo, Carol, who we like to call we got a lot of nicknames for Carol. She's been great. We'll leave it at that. Mike Long has been great, our unit manager, and some of the camera guys. Kevin Kidd and
Mark Pollock,
stage manager up here, Earl Anderson, our stats, just a couple of guys. Bill Garrity stepping in for Kim Anderson, our spotter today. But those are the guys right there that make it fun to be around. The camera guys, Tex up on camera, JR, of course, Mark Pollock,
Drano,
Mike Drains, Guy Rose, Guy as we call him, back in tape, Eric Filios, Mark Morris. Mark Morris is entertaining just to look at. Dave Johnson, Robert Phillips, a couple of guys. Our driver, Chuck Warren, gets the truck around.
Great guys. Had a lot of fun with him this year.
Handoff goes to Cedric Houston on his feet. Touchdown, Tennessee to cap it off. And the Tennessee Volunteers, with a 1:27 to go in the 4th quarter, will now wait till tomorrow afternoon to find out their postseason destiny.
Well, if there was any question that Cedric Houston runs hard, watch this run. Yards after contact. 1, 2, 3. Breaking through tackles. 4, 5. Stretch to the end zone.
Cedric Houston with just his 2nd rushing touchdown this year. James Wilhoit with the point after. It is good. Tennessee's lead now 19-7. 12 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. And the Tennessee Vols now lead at 20-7 with 1:27 to go in the football game. What a drive. 13 plays, 66 yards, 734. I mean, This drive started at 9:01, and they just chewed up 7 minutes and 34 seconds. Dave, we must point out that O-line, that offensive line of Tennessee really did a number on that drive. And here's a look at the SEC East standings. If Tennessee continues to hold on here, they will have a 10-win season, by the way, which will be the 7th 10-win season for Philip Fulmer, the most of any Tennessee head coach. But I think most importantly at this point is these three teams will now tie for the Eastern Division Championship. Georgia leading right now 27-10. So tomorrow, let me paint this picture. Tomorrow, the Southeastern Conference will be in touch with those that are in charge of the BCS standings. You and I, as a fan, won't have a chance to see the BCS standings until they come out on their normal time on Monday afternoon. But the league, the Southeastern Conference, will find out, and they will be able to announce tomorrow around 1 o'clock who will play LSU in the SEC championship game. With Tennessee's win today, you kind of got to assume that Georgia is the favorite, but you never know with these BCS standings. There are a lot of twists and turns. Also need to, as we wrap it up, need to thank some other folks. Dave O'Connell back in audio, who makes us sound a lot better than we really do. And Jerome Lee, another audio. He's in charge of Dave Baker's equipment for the most part, and that's always a chore. Kelly Collier, our technical director, pushing all the buttons. Lorenzen fires over the middle. Pass is caught by Chris Bernard, but no timeouts left for Kentucky. That'll stop the clock just to move the chains. And another tough loss on the way for Kentucky. This has been a team that's lost 18 straight to Tennessee.
Boy, now you go into that spread offense a little bit. You use Jared Lorenzen's arm.
Second and 10.
Our Napa Auto Care Center's players of the game are, for Tennessee, just their defense, because after an opening drive that saw Kentucky marching down the field, these guys tightened the chin straps and got after it. Sweet Pea Burns for Kentucky on a bad ankle still caused havoc. 5 tackles. One of those was behind the line of scrimmage.
Oh, he played his heart out. A lot of players on both sides getting that last opportunity, chance to play hard.
Lorenzen gets the pass, picked off by who else? Dave Rowe, your guy, Jabril Wilson.
Well, Wilson is just so quick on the ball, reading the quarterback's eyes.
And Jared Lorenzen's last, they say that it hit the ground? Incomplete.
Oh, look at Wilson. He's going, wait a minute, I thought I had that. What a fun player to be around.
Yeah, Wilson's like, I had that. Let's take another look.
Watch number 8. Lorenzen going down.
One hopped. Good acting job by Wilson. He's a senior. Lorenzen's last pass, not yet. He'll have one more. Jared Lorenzen about to wrap up his career, and I tell you, David, he hasn't won as many football games as he certainly would have liked, but he has came in and everybody, he came in such as a large quarterback and size-wise that everybody was focused on him, but still managed to throw for over 10,000 yards. He's had 3 different head coaches, 3 different systems, and I think we'll see him play one day on Sundays.
Oh, I think so too. I think he's got the arm. I think he needs a little bit more discipline. He's got to take off 25 or 30 pounds, but he's got the arm to play in the NFL.
Pass is caught, and that will be a first down.
That stops the clock.
Glenn Holt on the reception near midfield, a gain of 17. But Jared Lorenzen holds 6 NCAA records, 4 Southeastern Conference records, and 11 school records. And this will be the last time we see him in a college uniform. Lorenzen fires far side, pass dropped. He's had 3 or 4 of those. Chris Bernard today has dropped a couple.
Tennessee's going to give you the short one right now, but they've got Wilson dropping probably 25 yards off the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 10. 23 ticks of the clock remaining.
Now they got Corey Campbell, free safety. He's 30 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Lorenzen will just throw it out of bounds. I just can't get over that number. We're talking about a pretty good Kentucky team. I mean, they're not, you know, you might think that you're talking about a Division I AA team, 19 straight wins, but this Kentucky team, I mean, they come to play to win 19 straight over them just boggles my mind.
Well, you start thinking about it, there were games that Kentucky could have won a couple years ago, for example.
How about this Tennessee team, by the way, 72-4 since 1985 in the month of November. To the end zone. Incomplete, and that will do it. Philip Fulmer with his 7th 10-win season as the Volunteers go to 10-2 and 6-2 in the SEC to tie for the SEC Eastern Division Championship. We'll return to Lexington after a word from your local stations.